It's not just about sex.
Welcome into the program. Thank God for another beautiful day. Hopefully it'll be a beautiful show, and Montgomery needs a new mayor. And you know, sometimes, folks, it's not just about...
It's not just about sex.
No. It's not just about the punchline.
Stop playing with it.
Because for as many years as I disagreed and made fun of United States Senator Lindsey Graham and loved doing the over-the-top Southern lilting effeminate voice, it's a shame to see the news over the weekend that he suddenly passed away. It looks like his aorta burst. And, you know, several months back, I, was talking about how some liberal white woman, an awful, affluent, liberal female, some lady of a certain age was saying I was pig-headed and not open-minded and stuff. And I don't know, I took it so personally. But I wrote this a few months back saying, back when I was really, ready to call out hypocrisy in the lives of politicians, like I was accomplishing anything. But y'all keep at it. But times change me. It's not so much I've abandoned my principles, and I stick by this, but I've simply discovered, much to my pleasant surprise, that political principles may be realized in the strangest and most unexpected of ways. Sometimes crooked paths are the only route to finally finding the straight and narrow way. I used to think politics was a literal debate society, but now I see it more as a stage for players of all moral shapes and shades. Much can be learned from the villains of a story, just as much as from what any hero may do or say. I mean, what good are the heroes without the villains, the tricksters, the fools serving as stumbling blocks in their way? Even the worst have their role to play. And I mentioned political flip-floppers and all this stuff. But of course, in my world, in my mind, especially in my libertarian sensibilities, Lindsey Graham's the villain. He's Richard III. He's the slippery shapeshifter who would constantly advocate murder. You think murder's is over the top? Is there a Brutus in Russia calling for Putin to be assassinated? I mean, how many times, in a very nice way, did he call for dropping bombs on people's heads? But I've noticed something as I've changed, is that if I could say if there's one person that could add colors to the chameleon in politics, it would be Lindsey Graham. And you could take that as an insult, or you could take that as, well, what a lot of people say is he was a really good politician. And though in my, say, stupid political moral melodrama, he played, to me, more the role of the villain, he was a real man, more than just the chameleon that he was in politics. And the more stories you hear about him since his passing, especially now Trump has called for the governor of South Carolina to appoint Lindsey's sister. And apparently when Lindsey was 22 and his sister was 13, both their parents, dad died of a heart attack at about the same time he just died of this heart attack, essentially, his aortic burst. And that was right after or right before the mother also passed away. And the sister this morning was giving an interview to the New York Post talking about how she remembers to this day, when he's 22, she's 13, he essentially adopted her, ran to her, gave her a big hug, said, I'm going to take care of you. That woman now has 2 daughters of her own, I believe. And got Trump calling for the governor, and a lot of folks echoing this, to have his sister fulfill the rest of his time there in that Senate seat. And it's interesting, like, for all the ways that we criticize one another and the hypocrisy, or we disagree on policy and stuff, like, the way I put it is, maybe for years I found Lindsey Graham's political behavior wretched, but he was perfectly wretched. Like watching a method actor who mastered and honed his role, adding essential color and personality to the play's drama. And so you start to see when people die like this, when people pass like this, the more human side of things. This was Trump on Meet the Press, and he essentially breaks up. Let's listen in.
around the time. It couldn't have been much longer. It could have been his last call. I don't know exactly, but I got a message about 1 o'clock in the morning from one of the people at his office that he had passed away. I said, I just can't believe it. He was like a member of the family to me. It's very tough, actually. It's amazing.
Mr. President.
He was such an advocate. He was, if he wanted to get something, and he had a unique ability. He was able to deal with Democrats and Republicans. If I had a problem, a real problem, I wouldn't often ask. But if I had a problem with a Democrat, he could work it out. He was a great politician, actually.
And I believe he served for 30-something years in the armed forces, retired as a colonel, correct?
Yep.
And
Bronze Star winner.
Then entered into Congress. This is, by the way, where I play that little drop.
It's not just about sex.
That's during the impeachment of Bill Clinton. And the Democrats are saying, y'all are so obsessed with sex. And Lindsey's like,
It's not
just about sex. It's about him lying.
It is.
And, Lindsey's been in politics since then, made relationships since then. I know for a fact, just from watching on the outside looking in, he was quite close with Katie Britt.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. And in fact, at 1819, Craig Monger's written up the response from a lot of the Alabama delegation. I mean, Senator Britt posted a photo of Lindsey and her walking together into the State of the Union, the most recent one. Sat right next to each other, have known each other for a long, long time. Katie said, Wesley and I are shocked and deeply saddened. Lindsey was a true and dear friend, a great leader, and a fierce advocate for the people of South Carolina. I'm grateful to have had the opportunity to know him, learn from him, and serve alongside him. He not only graciously welcomed me to the Senate and gave me a seat at the table, but he also took time with my family in a meaningful, impactful way. Whether he was addressing an issue facing South Carolina or standing up for America's interests on the world stage, he had vision and purpose, and used both to tackle challenges others thought impossible. He possessed a rare combination of brilliance, acumen, and wit that brought levity to some of the most difficult moments, always allowing for a brief reprieve before refocusing on what lay ahead. This is a tremendous loss for our nation, and we're praying for his sister, family, friends, and loved ones, and all who had the privilege of knowing him. His presence in the Senate cannot be replaced. He'll be immensely missed. Coach Tuberville putting out, sad to hear about the passing of my colleague Lindsey. He put up on X. He loved his country, said Coach Tuberville of Lindsey Graham, and fought hard for what he believed in, praying for his family and his friends. And again, I didn't know Lindsey Graham personally, but I had the sense that for all the me and everybody else that would make fun of the guy, he would be the type that it wouldn't bother him. He'd laugh and then make fun of you back. He struck me as a true player of the political game in a way that was informed, and I think he believed what he believed. Whether you disagreed with him or not, he understood. And you're hearing a lot of those stories from behind the scenes of how even you'd think not friends at all, like they were dog cussy publicly, he would work together with somebody on things that actually move the ball and stuff they agreed on.
I think you said it earlier before the show started. We were talking about a true chameleon that could walk in different worlds, right? And a good friend of mine who was a JAG officer served with Lindsey and told me that he was just as he put his pants on one leg at a time, just like you. He said he was very, very down to earth. And here's what's interesting. A lot of people don't know. He volunteered to go back on active duty during the Gulf War, and he helped out a lot of the greasing of the skids between DOD and at the time DOW now and the Congress. So he's got a Bronze Star with not with valor, but still he was recognized for his superior contributions by the Air Force. So outstanding individual, great American.
And the vice president put this out just to give again more color but you're never be able to add as much colors as the chameleon that Lindsey Graham was. But Lindsey Graham came from a humble beginnings and became one of the most powerful lawmakers in the most powerful nation on earth, says the vice president. His story was a fundamentally American one. Early in my Senate tenure, this is J.D. Vance, I remember getting into a shouting match with Lindsey about a Ukraine funding bill. Sounds about right. At lunch, shouting match with Lindsey about Ukraine at lunch, and then learning the very next day that he was pushing rail legislation I really cared about behind the scenes. That was Lindsey Graham. He fought like hell for the things he believed in, and he was just as willing to go to bat for you when it counted. Lindsey had the best sense of humor in the Senate. He loved the game of politics. He was constantly asking which races were up and down and how he could help. As he liked to say, I don't care if you're an isolationist or a religious fanatic, so long as you have an R next to your name, I want you to win. And Vance goes on to say, we certainly had our disagreements, but I couldn't help but like him. A one-of-a-kind figure in our politics. I'll be praying for him and his family. And even somebody like, who's gone pretty far to a certain direction, especially on Israel, Tucker Carlson, even somebody like Tucker's like, Lindsey Graham's one of the most charming, interesting people you would have met. So it's like, I think for most of us, I'm sorry to have this sort of weird point of view. Most of politics is WrestleMania.
It is.
And even if you thought that guy's the heel or the bad guy or whatever, it's a shame when somebody passes this quickly, all of a sudden, like you're never going to see him again. And you start to realize how good at the game they were.
I think that there's a fringe group like the Squad and some of these people that are on the outside looking in. But for the most part, I think there's a camaraderie and there is a general cohesion between all of them.
And there's like the gay and retarded contingent.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Like the libertarians just yelling about warmonger and war pig. And I'm like, okay, guys.
Enough.
I would believe you more if you didn't sound like y'all would go to war to advance those beliefs yourself. Anyway.
Kind of hard.
Yeah. But it's probably not wise to dance on somebody's grave.
That's going to be very important who gets that seat. And I think having his sister is a very fascinating choice.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick. Because it'll be quick. I think they'll have a snap election here soon.
That'd be great.
So to have her there in those few months, and Trump on the politics side pushing to have the Clarity Act that Lindsey was really pushing on the SAVE Act, bringing up the SAVE Act, along with talking about Lindsey Graham. But of course, as we talk about, he's like on all these different sides of issues. Do you remember this scene where he is running for president, Lindsey Graham is, and he's a very much a never Trumper. And and Donald Trump sounds so different now. This is all the way back, 2016 Trump.
Right.
And Lindsey Graham had been annoying him and criticizing him. And so this is Trump in that first campaign giving out Lindsey Graham's phone number.
Today I got called a jackass by this guy. And then I said to myself, hey, didn't this guy call me like 4 years ago? Yes. He called me 4 years ago, 4 years ago. Lindsey Graham, I didn't even know who he was. He goes, Mr. Trump, this is Senator Lindsey Graham. I wonder if it would be possible for you to call Fox. And he wanted to know whether or not I could give him a good reference on Fox and Friends, okay? He wanted to know, would I do that? And then, of course, he wanted to know whether or not he could come and see me for some campaign contribution. And he gave me his number, and I found the card. I wrote the number down. I don't know if it's the right number. Let's try it. 202.
And he actually goes on and reads the whole thing twice.
It's 3-4 years ago, so maybe it's an old number. 202. So, I don't know. Give it a shot.
And then you hear Trump just from the weekend that Lindsey was like family to him at this point.
No.
It's a weird world. And in many ways, there's an entertainment factor to American politics, for better or for worse, where you don't get the full sense of the behind-the-scenes relationships. If in fact Lindsey Graham's sister is named to be the next senator from South Carolina in his honor, this is Lindsey running in 2015. It was a C-SPAN interview talking about his sister. Let's listen in.
Very close with your sister Darlene, correct?
Yes, I'm so. Of all the things that have happened in my life, her turning out so well is the highlight of it by far, because she was 13, lost both of her parents. She's got two daughters, one 21, one 6, and she's made an incredible life for herself. And when she got up there and introduced me, it was just about all I could do to speak.
If you are elected president, you'd be the first since James Buchanan to be a bachelor in the White House.
That's what I've been told.
So what role would she play in the White House, if any?
Well, she would be a support network for me. I hadn't really thought much about it, but at the end of the day, whatever I asked her to do, she would do. And if she took a role on, she would be a great representative of our country. I can't think of a better person to represent our country in an event than my sister. But at the end of the day, I think America can handle this. I want to be able to say everybody can grow up to be president, even if you're single.
I'm going to miss him when he's on Air Force One, falling behind Trump, talking about bombing things and destroying things.
And then the most classic moment, of course, and this is being shared all over, but we might as well share it again. This was, and I've done the caricature of it. Y'all were so mean to Brett Kavanaugh. But this is the actual speech. And if you listen to the actual speech, the guy certainly had talent for days. It's this consummate sort of insider, could work behind the scenes, do politics, could add colors to the chameleon. And then occasionally that person builds up such gravitas behind the scenes, not just in front of the camera, that when they decide to take a stand on something publicly, it speaks. Let's listen in.
At 9:23, on the night of July the 9th, the day you were nominated to the Supreme Court by President Trump, Senator Schumer said, 23 minutes after your nomination, I will oppose Judge Kavanaugh's nomination with everything I have. I have a bipartisan, and I hope a bipartisan majority will do the same.
And this is right after they released the Christine Blasey Ford stuff, saying that she was
molested by him.
Yeah, and all sorts of stuff.
It's terrible stuff.
Yeah.
The stakes are simply too high for anything less. Well, if you weren't aware of it, you are now. Did you meet with Senator Dianne Feinstein on August 20th?
I did meet with Senator Feinstein.
Did you know that her staff had already recommended a lawyer to Dr. Ford?
I did not know that.
Did you know that her and her staff had this allegations for over 20 days?
I did not know that at the time.
If you wanted an FBI investigation, you could have come to us.
He's saying that
what
to the
you
other
want to
side.
do is destroy this guy's life, hold this seat open, and hope you win in 2020. You've said that, not me. You've got nothing to apologize for. When you see Sotomayor and Kagan, tell them that Lindsay said hello, because I voted for them. I would never do to them what you've done to this guy. This is the most unethical sham since I've been in politics. And if you really wanted to know the truth, you sure as hell wouldn't have done what you've done to this guy. Are you a gang rapist?
No.
I cannot imagine what you and your family have gone through. Boy, y'all want power. God, I hope you never get it. I hope the American people can see through this sham, that you knew about it and you held it. You had no intention of protecting Dr. Ford. None. She's as much of a victim as you are. God, I hate to say it because these have been my friends. But let me tell you, when it comes to this, you're looking for a fair process. You came to the wrong town at the wrong time, my friend. Do you consider this a job interview?
The advice and consent role is like a job
You
interview.
consider that you've been through a job interview.
I've been through a process of advice and consent under the Constitution. Which
Would you say you've been through hell?
I've been through hell and then some.
This is not a job interview.
Yeah.
This is hell.
This
is going to destroy the ability of good people to come forward because of this crap. Your high school yearbook. You have interacted
Sanders
with
asleep over
professional women all your life, not one accusation. You're supposed to be Bill Cosby when you're a junior and senior in high school. And all of a sudden you got over it. It's been my understanding that if you drug women and rape them for 2 years in high school, you probably don't stop. Here's my understanding. If you lived a good life, people would recognize it, like the American Bar Association has the gold standard. His integrity is absolutely unquestioned. He is the very circumspect in his personal conduct, harbors no biases or prejudices. He's entirely ethical, is a really decent person. He is warm, friendly, unassuming. He's the nicest person. The ABA. The one thing I can tell you, you should be proud of. Ashley, you should be proud of this. That you raised a daughter who had the good character to pray for Dr. Ford. To my Republican colleagues, if you vote no, you're legitimizing the most despicable thing I have seen in my time in politics. You want this seat? I hope you never get it. I hope you're on the Supreme Court. That's exactly where you should be. And I hope that the American people will see through this charade. And I wish you well, and I intend to vote for you, and I hope everybody who's fair-minded will.
You know, I've been telling folks for a while, Troy. I'll say it. I told Senator Britt herself the other day, and told other folks who were kind of asking me my opinion about what's going on politically.
Sure.
I'm like, I've got other things on my heart and mind.
Yep.
In particular, getting back to God.
I know.
And so I've lost it. I lost it long before these last few 100 days. The sense of like playing the game myself and really caring about the ins and outs of every little win here or there. And I'm going to really change the world through the political process. But one thing that has stuck with me is the human interest side, the human side of these things. And for all the back and forth and moments that colored in Lindsey Graham's life in politics, I almost see what we just played there as like one of those moments where the main character's been beat up. The main character's, maybe you didn't think he was the one to give a speech like that, just rises to the occasion, rises to that particular moment. And so when you start to see these things less as this knockout, drag out battle for power, and instead look at it as a story of flawed, fallen human beings doing the best they can to make this world a better place. Yeah, we'll have our disagreements, but he's put it this way. And I said to my colleague, Jack Campbell, you don't see those sort of cars. Those sort of cars don't pass you every day. And as I've been processing it over the weekend, like, you know, I'm going to miss on a selfish level doing the Lindsey Graham voice, but you know what? I was doing this voice long before I started making fun of Lindsey Graham. Maybe it's a, past personality when my mom loved me too much. But
You're a bachelor too,
Yeah, exactly. I'm getting up there.
Birds of a feather.
Well, I'll take Lindsay's advice, though. I'll just get another 20 years older, and whoever wins Miss Alabama, I'll just pick her.
That's right.
Right. But as a process, it's like, yeah, you're going to miss this guy on the scene. And maybe some people won't for policy reasons, and that's fine. But I think the personality of a fellow like this will last a long time.
One thing that's hard to muster up or to present is genuine conviction. If you're convicted in something and believe in something, he clearly has conviction in what he does believe. Is he a little bit on the hawk side over there? Oh, yeah. That's fine. But guess you got to remember when he came up in the system, right?
Sure.
He came up during the Cold War, and he believes right's right, wrong's wrong, and we got a bigger stick than they do. Mm-hmm. And the thing is this. Human interest, and I told a good friend of mine who's a Politico, Jack Burns, working for Jerry Carl, I said, don't lose your humanity. Do not lose your humanity in all of this. Keep true to that. It's sort of like when Polonius tells his son, to thine own self be true, right? Even though he was a jackass, but right. Anyways. But my thing is, when Laertes, it's one of those. You have to keep your moral compass. And Joey, it's not just politics, it's business, it's everything. Yeah. And we talked about this, and it's rare when you find someone like that. Those cars don't pass you every day.
Yep. Anyway. And it's also a good reminder, folks, you never know.
We're not promised tomorrow, Joey.
You never know. I talked about it, and I'll probably read it tomorrow, the thing I actually wrote over the weekend, but I'll show you this, because you heard me talk about it on Friday, so I'll talk about it to Eddie. But this is literally what I have.
I've seen that's your little memento.
That's literally the photo, and I just made it look like an actual still life.
I love it.
But it's a reminder of you never know the day and time. But by the grace of God, go all of us.
Are you ready?
Like, we all are going to go back to dust in some way, and then the true hope is, if we truly open our hearts up to mercy, that we'll live forever and be reunited with all those who give their hearts up to him.
I just wish I could find a way to do it. I've been shot twice, had 2 IEDs. I told Robin, I go, God, is this ride ever going to stop?
But so that's my final word on Lindsey Graham. I pray for
God rest his soul.
the repose of his soul. 272-9228. It's 334-272-9228. We got to hit this quick break. We'll be right back after this.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
We didn't say it. You did. Guests keep telling us Epicure and Jack's Tavern serves the best steak around. Wet-aged in-house. Hand-cut. Perfectly cooked. When people talk, we listen. And we keep doing what we do best. We invite you to come experience the difference for yourself soon. Epicure and Jack's Tavern. Come taste what everyone's talking about.
This is your roving reporter, and today I'm talking with a political activist.
That's right, man.
And could you please explain to us your red cap with the letters MMRGA?
Yeah, man, this is my MARGA hat.
MARGA?
Yeah, man, that stands for Make My Retirement Great Again.
I see.
And to do that, what you need to do is call David Ernest.
The asset preservationist.
That's right, man. You can call David at 833-596-7233. That's 833-596-SAFE.
And I understand that's a toll-free number.
Yeah, man. Get David Ernest on the case, and your retirement will be great again.
And you make these hats.
I do. Here's a whole pile left from the last administration.
And they say CPWABD.
Yeah, man. Corn Pop was a bad dude.
And as you said, there's a whole pile here.
Well, there wasn't much demand.
I can dig it.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm John Scott. Oil prices are climbing following a weekend of attacks in the Middle East, while more losses for computer chip makers and other winners of the artificial intelligence boom weigh in on stock markets. The price for a barrel of Brent crude oil, the international standard, rose 3.2% to $78.46 after the United States and Iran each said the Strait of Hormuz is under its control. Much of Wall Street's attention this week will be on profit reports from companies saying how much they earned during the spring from April through June period. On Tuesday alone, Bank of America, Citigroup, JP Morgan Chase, all releasing their latest quarterly results. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm John Scott.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Mr. Electric of Montgomery. Mr. Electric, we've got the power to make things better. Visit MrElectric.com.
Rich Thomas Weather. Well, hi, everybody. Radar will be busy again today as a slow-moving front moves southward. We'll see partial sunshine with showers and thunderstorms becoming likely, especially in the afternoon and evening hours before fading out at night. High today in the upper 80s, low tonight in the lower 70s, and we'll be around the mid to upper 80s for a high on Tuesday. Then closer to normal on Wednesday with a high probably in the lower 90s with more scattered random afternoon and evening storms. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
The River Region's first and only news talk station on FM. Live, local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Again, I'm your host, Joey Clark. Troy Carrico in the studio today. And 2 years ago to this day, Trump almost had his head blown off.
Yeah, that's right.
That was a crazy day.
Oh, I mean, remember that.
That series of emotions, like
Nuts.
getting the news, seeing the first video, thinking maybe he is dead, then all of a sudden him standing up and that fist pumping the air, blood running down his face. And fight. Like, and you can hear him like say to the Secret Service, "Where are my shoes? Get my shoes."
And then the
And then they didn't want him to stand up and do that because that was
well, because they could barely get him up. The fat lady that couldn't get her gun back in her holster, that was a disaster.
And apparently there was a report that there were over like 100 radio calls about a possible shooter that were ignored by the Secret Service that day.
You got it.
And I still don't buy how quiet everything got around that whole story.
It was intentional.
Yeah, no doubt.
We're left to, Sherlock Holmes, when you get rid of all the other options, you're left with them on, no matter how crazy it sounds.
Yeah, for all the, I think, wasted energy conspiracists have spent on Charlie Kirk, what happened to y'all's interest in that particular case, in the Butler case?
And you and I both know this, and I know this for a fact operationally. You don't just go in with one drone. You have backup drones and contingency drones. They had no drone flying.
They had no overwatch. And there's a nice water tower right over there.
Joey, you could have walked in there, and I mean this. When you do what's called a physical security assessment, when you see where that line of sight is from that roof over to there, you would naturally go, well, that's kind of concerning. Someone can get up there and shoot. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out.
Right. Well, and if it's just one guy doing it, you might miss one. Yeah. But if you're like professionally trained teams,
you know where every point of fire is.
Yeah, professionally trained teams, and you miss that. Come on.
So the question is, who's behind that then, Joey? Who are they? Who are they when we say they want him dead? Who are they?
I don't know. I would say it's hard to immediately jump down that rabbit hole. It would be somebody who's within operational capacity that is in on it.
I agree.
To essentially pull people off it.
Someone that we know or know of, yeah.
But they missed. Like that tilt of the head. Like it's an eighth of an inch, and it would have been, and God knows what would have happened to this country.
So I went back and looked at my logs, and I think Uriel was over there that day.
Yeah. Let's go to Soldier Boy. Hey, Soldier Boy, how you doing?
I think you're taking my call today, Joey.
How you doing?
Troy.
Soldier Boy.
Hey, Troy.
Yes, sir.
I had my experience with an IED because when we were crossing in Green Zone in Baghdad outside the perimeter,
Yeah. What is that route? What is that route? Route Tampa runs right around the Green Zone. I think up to
every time we went under tents, we went crisscross.
Yeah.
Back and forth because they were worried about, I guess, people dropping something explosive over the bridge, right?
Right, of course.
Yeah, because we're going back and forth, and And me, Mr. Landshop, IT guy, no, a lover, not a fighter guy, okay?
Yeah.
So we the convoy, we're about 10 back, but they hit an IED. Is it IUD? IED.
Yeah, and improved explosive device. Yeah,
improvised. Yeah, and I tell you one thing, you can't be 6'4" or 6'5" and fit into a Humvee. Trust me, there's no room in that damn thing.
They're tight.
You tight into word, especially when you're
got your comms gear. You got your comms gear and everything in there. You can't move around.
It's the comm gear that's taking all the room up in the center.
It is.
That's what's taking all the space. And they even told us. We found out too. I got to meet David Petraeus. He was on our base in the Green Zone, and what was funny is his vehicle had armored up. Okay, his doors were armored up.
Yep.
Do you know who else had armored up vehicles besides the general? Government contractors.
Yeah.
Government contractors. And we had, and I asked this one guy who was taking us on the convoy. He said, "This is called a butter convoy." I go, "What do you mean a butter?" He says, "If they fire bullets, it'll go right through this vehicle like butter."
Yeah.
He says, "If you're smart, get behind the engine block, and that's your only salvation is that engine block. That's all metal." He says that'll slow it down.
Well, the contractors had the up armored vehicles, Joey, because they were the ones putting the armor on.
Yeah. Well,
hey, I got a question for you. Hey, Soldier Boy, I got a question for you. This came from one of my friends. Why do you call yourself Soldier Boy if you're an airman?
Why?
Why?
We're all soldiers. One team.
That's what I wanted to hear. Okay. He wanted me to ask you that. He goes, "Why is Soldier Boy?"
Is that the correct answer?
It is, because we all are riflemen. We're riflemen
right.
first. That's right. Soldiers. Okay.
So we're all soldiers, aren't we?
We are, absolutely.
Absolutely. I mean, everybody has a purpose and a mission and
Amen,
everything.
brother. You did a great job, too. I'm sure you were good at what you did. And guess what? If we can't talk through the land, we are dead in the water. So.
Oh, what's so funny is the 4 guys in front of us activated the explosive. Okay, they didn't make it. That was the worst. It was the worst, and that's how mine flipped over, and I had to get my left knee replaced. Okay, that's how I got my Purple Heart.
Yeah, I got you, brother.
You know what General Fogelman said? He came up to me and gave me first of all, the hardest time is nothing's. I mean, it's bad seeing the American flag over the caskets, okay? But nothing is more worse than to hear taps and keep
It is pretty
grown
haunting.
men,
It is pretty haunting.
grown men that are killers crying like children.
Yep.
And they would announce it. They'd say, Sergeant such and such, married, wife 4, son 3. I don't know. It's like you couldn't.
What's equally as bad, Joey, is watching the rifle down in the ground in the boots, sitting there empty. That one bothers me a lot, and the tags around it. I will share something with both of you. I think I and this was probably the most humbling experience I had in my service. I caught a graveyard bird back from Balad to Dover because I needed to get home, and that was the only flight going out that night. And I sat on board, and it just so happened one of the members of one of our sister units that had died in IED was on board, and it was very emotional and very spiritual flying back.
You know what David Fogelman, the General Fogelman, said to me when he presented me my Purple Heart?
What did he say?
He came up to me, all 4 stars of him, and he came up to me and he goes, "I'm glad I got to present this to you, even though because of the circumstances," he said, "but at least I didn't have to do it posthumously."
Listen, that's amen to that. That's why James Capers is so important. No posthumous awards,
He says, if I can present this to you, he says, I know what you've gone through and everything. He says, but to be able to present this to you and not have to present it to a family is a lot better makes me feel a lot better.
Well, thank you for what you did, and thank you for your service, brother. Thank you for the call. We love you.
And thank you for your service, Troy.
You're welcome, brother. It was an honor, just like it was for you. You're a great American. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, I just wanted to say that. Oh, something else too. When I got back, I was so unprofessional. I was, Troy, because
well, you're Air Force. You're sloppy. You guys are sloppy.
Well, that's exactly. I'm a lover, not a fighter. Exactly. You are correct. They don't want me with that weapon in hand. Hell no, man. It took me almost 3 hours to qualify with that damn weapon twice a year. I mean, it's pretty bad. It's bad.
You got a zero right.
Well, I shot the other guy's target a couple times to the left and the right of me. It's bad. It's just bad.
So what do you got? What's the final parting thought?
When I got back, I said, "What happened?" And they said, "Sergeant Soderberg, what happened?" And I said, "We hit an IUD."
IUD, yes.
Good job.
That's a different type of bomb.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate the call.
Isn't that a woman's birth control thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Okay.
Yeah, and the lady looked at me, and the staff sergeant looked at me, and she said, "Sergeant Soderberg, if that exploded, you would have known."
I'll talk to you later, buddy.
Thanks, man. 272-9228. 334-272-9228. Let's go to line 2. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, yeah, this is Urbanite.
What's up, man?
Hey, Urbanite.
Hey, I got a question. Has any of you, especially your guests, have you heard about the memorial wall that's supposed to contain all the names of the people who've ever been in service?
Yes.
Being built?
Yes.
Here's
what I know. Let me tell you what I know about it.
It's a ridiculous project, but there is no way that's going to happen.
I know. Here's what I know about it. Okay, and this is through someone who works for the DC engineering command that does all the building of any memorials. And there's only one official federal memorial that's outside of DC, and that is the World War I memorial in Kansas City. But anyways, this is they are in the process of planning. I don't know if it has the backing yet from everyone, but they have talked about it, and I agree with you. It's going to be hard to pull that off. Just based on all the variables in it. But yeah, that's all I know. They have talked about it.
You know how many records have been destroyed? You know how many records that don't exist anymore?
I know, brother. I know. Listen, I mean, just even Vietnam, we lost a bunch of people's records during the fire in Cleveland. I mean, there's so much out there. You're right. It would be.
People who had classified jobs.
I know.
Didn't allow them to be acknowledged.
Well, Urbanite, one of the things I find that a good memorial will have, and it'll say, and for all the others unnamed and unknown that did this, and that's all you can really do in that case. So, yeah.
Yeah, and that's like Boopadoo,
Yeah.
That's like the unknown soldier.
Yeah.
We always wonder who he is, what he is,
Yep.
It just doesn't carry it. In this day and age, the visual cues with internet and
yep.
that worked in the old days, with imagination. With,
No, you're right. You're right. You're
But
right.
nowadays, with the amount of visualness and stuff, I don't feel it.
I hear you. I don't think you're not wrong. I'm just saying that that's what's going on.
What's his name? Soldier Boy was joking about the Air Force, which I've always joked about the Air Force because I used to share an office with some Army people.
Yeah.
When I first, so I kept my warrior mentality because I went to school.
There you
And you
go.
remember how fast?
Yep.
And so I kept my warrior mentality. And I can't tell you what an alien I was when I went to USAC.
I can imagine.
There's just some military people in the Air Force. You know that.
Hey, you know what? The best thing about Air Force is you can eat ice cream after every dinner at their chow hall.
And the other funny thing, though, we were talking about the Army and the Air Force. I remember when we were trying to do PT. Did they ever get that down with the PT?
Well, I can tell you this. When I was on Tyndall Air Force Base about a year ago, they were playing ultimate frisbee for PT, and I looked at my wife. I said, "That's why they got a Fat Boy program."
Exactly.
Well, I got to run, Urbanite. I
Thank you for the call, Urbanite.
appreciate the calls always.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you, brother.
272-9228. Yeah, hopefully we'll have Austin Branco on the other side of this.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Hi, I'm Carl Schmidt, naturopath and owner of the Herb Shop Wellness Center at 8161 Vaughan Road. You know, with over 30 years experience in natural wellness, I've seen countless health fads come and go. A few years ago, we added a patented technology that actually activates your stem cells. It reverses the aging process at the cellular level. However, you do need proper hydration and targeted nutrition. At the Herb Shop, our advanced scanning and testing technology allows us to accurately assess your nutritional needs and get a customized plan for you. Come in today and see what the Herb Shop can do for you.
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Joey Clark. In a second, we'll have Alan Mendenhall joining us via the stream. You know, you wrote about how there are all these racial quotas still in Alabama law.
I saw that. I read it.
You
That's a
learn
good
something
one.
every day. Now let's go to the phone to talk to Austin Branco with Invista Advisors. Austin, how are you?
Good, Joey. Good to hear you and Eddie. Hadn't talked to you guys in too long, but it's great to hear your voices.
Well, Eddie's nowhere. We
Man,
got
if you
Troy
ever call me
Carrico.
that again,
Oh,
I'm going to
Troy.
drive. If you ever call me that again, I'm going to drive down to your office, and you and I are going to have a talk.
Golly. Oh, I need to be prepared. It sounds like Troy. My bad, buddy.
You're fine, brother. How you doing?
Man, we're good. We've been busy, which is one of the reasons I haven't heard any of your voices in a while, aside from when I'm listening throughout the day, but just hadn't had a chance to hop on the phone. But life's good. I got, 2 little ones, a new baby on the way. I don't know if you guys knew that yet, but wife is expecting number 3. So that's
Congratulations.
Blessings. Yeah.
Thank you. Big news.
That's awesome, dude. And so let's just hit the markets real quick. Let's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're coming off of a unique kind of March, April, bout of volatility, most of it around Iran. We were waiting for new Fed Chair Warsh to get in. He's in. But we've had a huge wave of recovery since that period of time, which is kind of where I've been absent from these calls that we do. But since then, the market's rebounded positively last week. S&P was up over 1%. I think we're up, 120 basis points. NASDAQ is up about 1.5% to 2% last week. Tomorrow's a big day. We get CPI data. So, what we're going to be looking for there is evidence that inflation is continuing or moderate, that'll push volatility. If it's softer than expected, you're likely going to see equities run up. If the report comes in a little hot, you're likely going to see Treasury yields, push higher, and it's going to put some pressure downwards on equities. And not only do we have inflation data coming out with the CPI report tomorrow, but it's about to be earnings season, particularly for banks. Banks have all had a pretty solid run during this. A lot of people were bearish on banks heading into this bout of volatility, but if you've been in JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs or Citigroup, you've had a pretty good run this year, with those being up sometimes in the double digits. So unique time, and those are some of the factors that we are watching over the next 48 hours. It's really one of the most important weeks of the summer, with inflation data coming out, bank earnings coming out, the new Fed reserve and commentary from him will be coming out. We're going to see kind of how Warsh handles this big week of reports and data coming out, how he digests them publicly. And it's a whole new voice for us to listen to and analyze. And for those that nerd out over this kind of stuff, it's going to be a fun week.
Yeah, a lot of things happening at once. And yeah, I think people who aren't watching this all the time underestimate how much the Fed chairman, just from how he carries himself at these press conferences, sets the tone, is really the conductor of a lot of somewhat the markets might do.
Especially in recent years, back in the day, the role was just to kind of be under the radar, say what needs to be said, give the data update, and be in the background. But it seems like everything now, with the speed that information travels and everyone wants to be public facing, and to a degree, they know they carry the power to shake markets. And so it is a different time, and now we have a different face to the Fed, and so it'll be interesting to see how Warsh pushes the data that he receives out into the public. And most of these guys, regardless of, you have politics, right, that are far left and far right, and it's easy to tell who's on which side. Theoretically, your Fed chair, regardless of where they stand politically, should be pretty central and pretty monotone in their delivery of data. Data is data. You shouldn't be skewing data, and there's no way to really skew it unless you're going to get called out on it. So it's not like we're looking for some big gotcha moment, but his cadence and the way he speaks and how calm he is, or how erratic he speaks, is something that I'm interested to see.
Yeah, and we shall see. And I know you're on top of it, and folks, if you're looking for folks that can, of course, manage your assets, that investment portfolio, they can do that for you there at Invista Advisors. But it's beyond just asset management. They can also help you with any sort of financial planning. Essentially anything financial. It comes up wherever in life, just starting a family, more middle-age issues, more buttoning up the end-of-life concerns. They can help you out across the board there at Invista Advisors. The number's still 387-0094 to call you up.
That is us. Give us a call.
Well, y'all check them out today. And great having you back on, Austin. Look forward to talking to you again soon. And congratulations again on the kid coming again.
I'm going to have nightmares now of being Eddie Peter.
No, that was a mistake. That was my bad.
I'm joking, brother. You have a good one, man. Congratulations on the third one coming. That's a blessing from God, man. Yep.
Thank you, guys. Y'all be good.
You too. Again, that's Austin Baranko with Invista Advisors.
The opinions voiced in this material are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. All performance referenced is historical and is no guarantee of future results. All indices are unmanaged and may not be invested into directly. The opinions expressed in this material do not necessarily reflect the views of LPL Financial. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice is offered through Invista Advisors, registered investment advisor and separate entity from LPL Financial.
Now, here's the president. This was earlier today talking about, what happened 2 years ago to this day in Butler, Pennsylvania.
After that, I got lucky. God was watching. There's one, Ainsley, God was watching because, my son Don and Eric, both of them, they know a lot about guns. They hunt. They like to hunt. And they said from that distance, with that gun, that particular gun, there's almost no chance of missing. They considered it something maybe easier than a 2-foot putt, to put it in golf terms. They said that's from that distance with that gun, it's like sinking a 2-foot putt. which is hard to, for those non-golfers, a 2-foot putt is almost automatic. I wouldn't say automatic for some people, it's not, but it's almost automatic. And so, God was with me. I turned my head to show a chart, and a chart that I never show on the right-hand side, but this time I did, and a chart that I don't even use that much. I use it probably 1 in 10 times at the rallies. But it's always on my left, and this time it was on my right. I looked to the right instead. If I looked to the left, I wouldn't be talking to you right now. So many amazing things. And the chart is always at the end of the speech, and I just put it at the beginning because it was appropriate. Sometimes I'll start out, and I won't be reading a lot of things because it makes it much more interesting. I think that's why people like it.
Yeah, and it's just there are a lot of factors that day where not just he, but the entire country dodged a bullet. I think the horrors we would have witnessed if that had actually occurred. Anyway, we got to hit this break. We'll come back with Alan Mendenhall. Looking forward to talking to him after this.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. With the passing of U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham, both political parties are now in somewhat of disarray when it comes to plotting for the upcoming midterm elections. With Senator Graham's passing, that means there's one less prominent Republican in place on Capitol Hill, but they're still expected to do well in the midterm elections. They're Democrats hoping for a chance to flip that seat. Doctors, meanwhile, shining some new light on the cause of death for the senator. Preliminary findings from the D.C. Medical Examiner say that Senator Graham died of what's called an aortic dissection. That's a tear in the inner wall of the aorta and is said to be related to the hardening of arteries. An official cause of death will be issued sometime soon after a further examination. President Trump says the U.S. is reinstating a blockade on Iran in the Strait of Hormuz and will also charge ships for safe passage. This is SRN News.
Are you tired of feeling lousy? Maybe you had a scare at your last checkup or just walking hurts? When enough is enough, call PhD Weight Loss. When I had enough 4 years and 53 pounds ago, I knew I couldn't do it alone. I'm Mike Gallagher for PhD Weight Loss. Best phone call I ever made. They were right with me. They still are today. Right now, mention Mike. You'll get 2 free weeks added to the program, and they'll pay for the cost of your food. $1,500 value. Call 864-644-1900, 864-644-1900, or visit myphdweightloss.com.
Hi, I'm Kirk Cameron. Christian Healthcare Ministries is not another health insurance policy. If you're tired of restrictions, CHM offers anytime enrollment on your schedule at half the price of traditional marketplace plans. See why believers across the nation are better with CHM.
Get started by calling 1-833-JOIN-CHM and use promo code WELLNESS for a 50% credit towards your first month. That's 1-833-JOIN-CHM and use promo code WELLNESS.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber, now open from 6 to 5. It's more than just great prices on lumber. From Trex decking to energy-efficient windows and Tamco shingles, Alabama Wholesale Lumber has it all.
Rich Thomas Weather. Well, hi, everybody. Radar will be busy again today as a slow-moving front moves southward. We'll see partial sunshine with showers and thunderstorms becoming likely, especially in the afternoon and evening hours before fading out at night. High today in the upper 80s, low tonight in the lower 70s, and we'll be around the mid to upper 80s for a high on Tuesday. Then closer to normal on Wednesday with a high probably in the lower 90s with more scattered random afternoon and evening storms. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, here's today's top stories. A weekend crash in Elmore County claimed the life of a Wetumpka man. 69-year-old Gordon Stevenson was killed when his motorcycle was hit by an SUV Saturday morning. The accident happened just before 8 a.m. at the intersection of Marshall and Jug Factory Road, approximately 8 miles east of Wetumpka. Stevenson was pronounced dead at the scene. Montgomery firefighters battled a major fire at a home on Cherry Street Sunday morning. The single-story home between Mulberry and Ann Streets was fully engulfed in flames when firefighters arrived. Crews were able to suppress the bulk of the flames before entry could be made into the structure. Thankfully, no one was inside the house. The cause of the fire remains under investigation. Construction is reportedly on schedule for the multi-million-dollar renovation project at the Montgomery Zoo. The Montgomery City Council approved the $4.2 million plan to update the zoo's entrance last spring. The project includes new administrative offices, ticket windows, a gift shop, and restrooms. Construction is expected to be completed sometime later this summer. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Troy Carrico here in the studio with me. Donald Trump speaking live at the Freedom 250 Grand Prix.
Got 3 drivers in.
That's pretty cool.
He's always got something going on.
Always. It's just good to see him alive when you realize what could have happened 2 years ago to the day. Joining us now is Alan Mendenhall with the Heritage Foundation. Of course, he's also a columnist there at 1819 News and appears all over the media landscape these days. Alan, how are you doing these days?
I'm great. We have 6 Saturdays until college football, and it kind of feels like it right now. It's overcast and rainy, and it's a little cooler. I can feel football season creeping up.
Slowly but surely, and that's when this whole region comes alive. Yeah. People live and die for that whole season on Saturdays, especially.
Yeah, summer. What's summer? Who cares about summer?
Oh man, let's skip over it. I'm with you, brother. Let's get right to the fall. Let's get
it's hot. It's rainy. What are we doing even during the summer? But I got to ask you about some of the top news, and then I definitely want to touch on what you wrote about this week. But first, this being the 2-year anniversary of the president almost being killed in front of God and everybody. I remember that day where I was, and I'm glad we're on the timeline we're on because the alternatives are horrifying. But it's kind of crazy when you look back how fast these 2 years have flown by.
It really is. And actually, just last week, there was a report from the Office of Inspector General that came out on the Secret Service failures. And they were like systemic failures, undertrained personnel, bad communication between law enforcement and Secret Service. I mean, all kinds of things that are shocking, like, a drone flying for 9 minutes as like a test drive and no one saw it. Like, crazy stuff. And I was just saying this to somebody this morning, but we've had 45 people who've been president. So we're on like the 47th president, but because Trump and Grover Cleveland had non-consecutive terms, there were really only 45 individuals. Well, 4 of them were assassinated when they were in office. And that means that almost 9% of the people who served as president were assassinated. And if you start adding in the assassination attempts with like Andrew Jackson, Teddy Roosevelt, FDR, Truman, Ford, Reagan, Trump, like you start to realize, wow, it's like really, really important that we have a competent Secret Service because, it's an unsafe position to be president of the United States.
Yeah. And it's also a weird place being where the official explanation of what went wrong, even with all these reports like you just laid out, it still doesn't really feel like a satisfying answer. Maybe I'm not one to go full conspiracy, but this particular story just in the gut doesn't feel right. What we've been told so far. Well, we just happened to screw up.
Well, I thought Trump's remark about the 2-footer on the golf course was hilarious. That like missing the shot from 155 yards is like missing a 2-footer, because I remember playing in our club championship and I missed about a 1-incher one time by accident because I leaned over. It was just this little 1-inch birdie putt. and I leaned over to try to just like say, guys, I'll just slap this out of the way to get it out of your line. I'll just finish out. And I like leaned over on my tippy toes in this funny way and slapped it, and it missed like from 1 inch. So it is possible. But at any rate, no, I agree. It's disturbing the extent of the failures. And honestly, all the recommendations from that report were pretty straightforward. It was like, communicate better, train officers harder, like anything that you like knew that the conclusion would be beforehand was what you got. So, it's disturbing. It really is.
It is.
As someone who's handled a lot of weapons in my time, I disagree with the statement. That's not the ideal weapon you would use for a certain kill shot. It's accurate at that, but it was suppressed, number one. It was using 55 grain ammo. So it was not the ideal weapon of choice because it was a short carbine. However, you could still do it. I could have hit that target. And my thing is this, like you just said, and Joey, we talked about earlier, it's the cacophony, the plethora of other issues that were identified. And it's almost as if they were purposely, sort of like what the Sir Arthur Conan Doyle said, when you remove all the options and whatever you're left with is even as outlandish as it might sound, that's all that you're left with. That's it. It looks to me like this was completely botched on purpose. The coordination was not there. And the drone, you talked about the drone. Do you know that their drone was, quote, broke? You don't have any backup drones? You bring only one drone? It's always a pair and a spare when you go. And I don't get that.
Well, and it's easy enough with the line of sight issue, put like a truck or a bleacher, something in
Absolutely.
the way, because that's typically what they do to secure a line of sight when there's a building like that. And the building wasn't secure. It was just, it's shocking. The extent of the failures were pretty shocking. And it's important to point out that this was, a Department of Homeland Security that was led by Mayorkas at the time under a Biden administration. So, the report does not place blame like that in any kind of partisan way. But, it is important to point out that at a minimum, we have some high level incompetence there.
Now, the other big news item over the weekend, of course, is the sudden passing away, the death of Lindsey Graham. And, I mentioned earlier in the show, I constantly was making fun of and criticizing Lindsey. But when, somebody like that who's such a larger than life personality in American politics for decades, I don't know, there's part of me, it's like, man, I'm gonna miss the guy. But what's your thought of seeing this news all of a sudden?
Oh, well, it was shocking. I happened to be awake when the news, when the messages started coming in, and I actually sat down at my computer to do a Fox News hit at 2 a.m. and then it got abruptly canceled. And so I was like, wow, I am up and at 'em, and now I got to go back to bed. But that was shocking. And, it really is a rough moment in the Senate now because you've got McConnell who's out of commission. So this is jeopardizing any chance at passing the SAVE Act, any kind of new reconciliation bill, getting Trump's defense spending through. I mean, all of these things are jeopardized at a critical moment. And it makes you think about other things too. Like at the U.S. Supreme Court, you're like, well, Justice Thomas is 78, right, and Alito's right behind him. And we saw what happened with Ginsburg when she died in office to the left. Like, maybe these guys ought to be looking at retirement. But then if they retire, are we ever going to get anybody as solid as those two? They've been the best Supreme Court justices we've had for a long time, since Scalia's passing, for sure. And so do we have anybody as reliable as them? I mean, I don't know, but I would rather have Trump be picking their successors than, any Democratic president in 4 years, assuming that might happen. So yeah, it's just it's a weird thing. I feel old now. I feel old because all these people keep dying that don't seem old to me.
Yeah, Graham in particular, I was like, that guy seemed quite alive. Yeah. But and I think his father died around the same age of a heart condition as well. And sometimes when things rhyme in that sort of tragic way. But I think putting in his sister for the interim is probably a nice touch. And as far as McConnell goes, I guess he posted some proof of life stuff, and they actually explained what he had a spill in the fall, went unconscious, had to battle pneumonia for a while. But especially with McConnell, and we've brought this up with the current governor and stuff, like some of y'all need to do the nation or the state a favor and retire. Like I really am frustrated by this game of are they healthy, are they not healthy? Yeah. I'm just going to die in office till the wheels fall off. I think that leaves everybody in a tough position. And your point about the Supreme Court's well taken to the same degree. But, the elected officials get more of a choice in that matter instead of that lifetime appointment. And it just seems unfair to the population. It's like I even look at Susan Collins. And I'm like, come on.
Did that for a while. That's been going on for a while.
Because it could, a bad thing, and God forbid, thinking about our mortality, but a bad thing could happen all of a sudden, like we've seen.
Yeah, no, it's true. And, there's something that athletes have kind of learned pretty well, and it's to bow out gracefully. Most of them don't just like hang around so that they're like warming the bench. They know. Unfortunately, our politicians haven't quite learned that.
Yeah, go out on top.
There's a lot of financial incentive to stay in office.
Well, that's true. Yeah, you could all these guys and girls that hold office, they could go get all kinds of nice little endowed chairs at universities and just tell war stories and talk and all that kind of stuff. And they'd have people to grade the papers for them and all that.
Well, and one thing to Lindsey Graham's credit is apparently he was one of the lowest net worth people in the Senate for being up there decades. It was like, well, it looks like he didn't, at least officially to his own self, enrich himself. But
yeah, I saw the house that he still owned in South Carolina, and I forget what the cost was, but he bought it for like $100-something thousand in whatever year it was, and he never upgraded to a bigger house. He never moved, never did any of the flashy things, and that's definitely to his credit.
Now, you have a piece out today at 1819 News saying the racial quotas embedded in Alabama law. What in the world? I thought we were past this.
Yeah, so we've got all kinds of racial quotas in our law, things that say, okay, you have to have X number of seats to an African-American or X number of geographic diversity. So they're two different things. I've got a cheat sheet over here for the hard quotas. So these are at the Alabama High School of Mathematics and Science Board of Directors, the Board of Occupational Therapy, the Board of Social Work Examiners, the House Finance Authority, the Real Estate Commission. I mean, there are a bunch. And then when you get to soft quotas, these are things where it's like you need to just have things that are inclusive by gender, economic diversity, whatever it is. And there are dozens of those, tons of them. And I think all of them are subject to being struck down under the 14th Amendment, equal protection. And some people will say, well, it doesn't matter that these discriminate on the basis, because what that means when you have these racial quotas, it means that you are discriminating on the basis of race.
Yes.
And some people will come in and say, well, because, there's a history of discrimination against a particular race, there needs to be some sort of institutionalized reverse discrimination in order to make up for past injustices or something like that. But the thing is, once you move away from that colorblind aspect of the law, once you start saying, okay, it's okay for the law to discriminate on the basis of race under this circumstances, well, then you start getting into troubling slippery slope, which is like, okay, well, how much discrimination is okay on the basis of race? How long do we discriminate on the basis of race? Which races do we discriminate against and which races don't we discriminate against? Who decides who gets to discriminate against which group? I mean, it raises it's just so much better if the law applies neutrally and equally, notwithstanding race, in particular, because race is a surface level characteristic that is unchosen. Nobody picks their race. It's an immutable characteristic that we come into the world born with. And so you shouldn't punish people for having a particular race because they don't choose it. Punishment is for things that you choose. You make a bad decision and you deserve to pay the consequences for it. Right. But this is something that is completely unchosen.
And it's interesting that especially the hard quotas are in the place I'm just not surprised. Like all these different boards, some of which I just don't even think should exist, all these regulatory boards that are out there. But it does seem that's the culture. And, I guess I could try to piss off the Real Estate Commission or the Board of Chiropractors, but in particular, the Board for Registered Interior Designers. Why should that exist? And if I'm making interior designers mad, what are you going to do? Come and pick up awful, ugly curtains to put in my home? Like
they're going to pull the wallpaper off that you put up.
But it seems like this is it's part and parcel of that culture that's around this sort of government, these government board and bodies.
Yeah. While we're scrutinizing the boards for their racial discrimination, maybe we should ask whether they should exist at all. But that's part of what the problem is with occupational licensure. It's anti-competitive practices that actually different occupations like, because they want to monopolize, they want to concentrate power and not let there be innovation and competition. Competition is what will lower prices and benefit consumers, but a lot of businesses don't want that. They want to be easy. They don't want the competition.
Now, and back to this idea that these quotas could run afoul of the Constitution, and probably do run afoul of the Constitution. Is there a way to actually get the ball moving in the courts on this?
Oh yeah. Anybody who would like to serve and cannot because of the quota should probably just get in touch with me, because I could put you in touch with the people who are really interested in litigating this particular issue.
Yeah, be nice to see.
Speaking of litigation, I've been seeing in the press and again, got to be careful the sources, but a lot of people are winning their lawsuits against being persecuted on the Charlie Kirk stuff and all this, and speaking out and being politically very, very flamboyant. What are your thoughts on all that? Have you been tracking any of that?
Yeah, well, I'm not looking at it very, very closely, but what happens is you have academic freedom in universities, and so that's a contractual thing. That's not just like my First Amendment right to speak or not speak, or whatever. You actually contract into these academic freedom agreements, and so that's a problem. Also, on public university campuses, depending where you air the speech, certain things can be said. Like if I am on a public space, a government property, and I want to speak about particular things, then I can. Now, that doesn't cross the line into criminal acts, which is what you see a lot of university students doing, is vandalizing stuff. And they're like, well, this is my speech. Like, well, nobody... Your freedom of speech doesn't go into vandalism. That's actually just a crime. Like, that's not an utterance. But yeah, I think part of the issue is contractually, a lot of these professors have academic freedom. And so as distasteful as their comments are, and as horrible as they are, they've got this academic freedom. Now, a lot of private universities don't have that kind of academic freedom. Most religious universities have a much narrower parameters for academic freedom, because, for example, if you're a religious university, you can't teach heresy, or you can't undermine the faith or something like that. And I know I taught at Faulkner, and we had to sign a statement of faith and that kind of thing when I was there. And that's perfectly legitimate. You don't have absolute academic freedom when you work at an institution like that. It's this, most of the public universities are based on the German research model, and the German research model is sort of predicated on the view that we ought to have this collision of ideas, and that the parameters of acceptable opinion ought to be as wide as possible. Even if people say things that really do not contribute to the sum of knowledge, really do not expand the frontiers of understanding, they're just, base, horrible things, but still that's what they're allowed to do by contract.
Yeah, in a way, they kind of punish themselves by saying such ridiculous things.
Yeah, they totally discredit themselves.
So the one at Auburn is why I'm asking. That recently she won her lawsuit against Auburn.
Yeah. Well, it's a thorny issue, like Alan said, with the contracting. Like it gets some interesting aspects, but it's almost like you should have some basic standards. I believe in freedom of speech, but especially private institutions should definitely have their own basic standards. But we're pretty much out of time here, Alan. If folks want to check out your work and maybe want to get in touch with you, just maybe work on something with the Heritage Foundation, how can they do so?
Yeah, you can reach out to me, and there's a contact form on my website, which is at alanmendenhall.com. Shoot me an email. It goes straight to my email when people leave me messages. A lot of them are kind of mean, so I don't respond to them. But if you send me a nice one, I'll probably respond.
Well, I appreciate it. People got to stop being mean. That's just
mean to him. I mean,
internet.
He's so affable. Come on.
Well,
and good looking too. what could possibly go wrong?
Well, thank you, Alan. Appreciate the time.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
I love it, man.
Again, Alan Mendenhall, always appreciate his time. This part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services, and they're at Pest Pro Ashley. And that great team are ready to help you out. And you getting eaten up by some mosquitoes, man?
No, the yellow jackets have been my primary
really?
opponent. Yeah, and some wasps. But yeah, there are. I'm getting ate up a little bit. But yeah.
Yeah, so if you're just looking for a great pest control company to do basic pest control services, Pest Pro can help you out. They really are the best. And then if you are trying to, say, enjoy the backyard, sit out there, solve the world's problems after a big family meal, and all of a sudden grandma's got welts on her forehead because the mosquito, and you even sprayed her with off, and it didn't work. So why not actually get your yard treated? And it really does work.
It does.
If it works up at the lake for Eddie Bader,
it's going to work here.
It's going to work for you. And yeah, they serve the whole river region.
They do.
And I've loved to see the success that Pest Pro Services has found in the last 5-6 years. Growing business, and that shows just how good they are by their success. So check them out today. You can always learn more at ppsriverregion.com or search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces and always see what they have going on Facebook. Pretty active page there. Or you can always just call them direct at 265-9990. That's 265-9990. And be sure to tell them that Joey and Troy, those fellas on the radio, sent you. When you want to know, call a pro. Pest Pro Services. So I got like this snail mail.
Yeah. I saw you had a package. What did you get there?
So, like, I think we'll just do this live.
Well, that's a
Why
good
not?
idea. Let's
Because
do
it's
it.
definitely from a woman.
Oh, has it got perfume?
No,
in it?
it's because of the handwriting.
Does it have
The handwriting.
Does it have a lipstick?
No, it's not a romantic letter.
Oh, darn it.
But it says, Dear Joey Clark, I listen regularly to all the morning and afternoon talk shows. However, I rarely contribute. In regards to the segment of your show, Montgomery needs a new mayor. This is my attempt to awaken the mayor to the error of his ways. Encloses another letter, open letter to the mayor, as well as a prop. A fan said, please accept said items in support of your efforts. Signed from the heart, Susan.
Very nice, Susan.
And she said, enjoy. I did while preparing my small contribution to the cause. And there's a thank you sticker on the bottom.
Listen, she's an outstanding citizen.
Wrote this on July the 6th, so I'm glad we finally got it. So let's, first off,
what do we got
she
there?
has given me a fan
Let's
here.
take a look
Like
at that.
and it has a little note on it. And actually, there's a tab that says pull. So here I'm pulling it out. And oh my goodness.
What do we got?
And it says here, the Church Lady fan was inspired by the 1986 debut of Church Lady on SNL.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was what Martin Short, right?
No,
Who was
Dana
it?
Carvey.
David, that's right, Dana Carvey. I stand corrected. Yeah.
Especially designed for the mayor's viewing pleasure. And so I guess before I reveal what this fan says on the other side, but yeah, it's like one of these things.
At the very least, at the superficial level, she's saying, "Get to church, young man.
Actually,
get to church."
this
young
is
man.
this is a great gift, Susan, because it often gets hot in here, and this is just pleasant.
Can we get a couple more?
I've always seen this. I've never tried it. This actually could. We need to start doing this.
We
on the
need to
regular.
have Eddie come in. He can just fan you and feed you grapes.
Yeah, right. No, he's not feeding big grapes. He wishes. Anyway, so here is the open letter from Susan in Prattville.
All right, let's
to the mayor of Montgomery, and of course, Montgomery
Notice she's
does.
not a citizen of the city. She
No.
is a Pratvillian, but
Oh.
she cares enough to write
And
this.
she wrote this on the 4th of July.
There you go.
Dear Mayor Reed, as a former resident of Montgomery, I've seen change in the mindset of too many people who currently reside there, and not for the better. This was the place I once called home for over 50 years.
Man.
If we face truth with a capital T and underline truth head on, we're being led back to our rightful calling in life. Facts are you're being led in the wrong direction way too long. In a leadership role, this not only damages your family and legacy, but impacts thousands of others while you're on this misguided path. Consider these hard-learned lessons from one who traveled the path of correction by my Lord. There are seasoned people trying to help, and others, while facing rejection and pushback, still waiting to do the same. Even Jesus made straight a donkey's path. So stop Stop is capitalized and underlined. So stop being such an ass and listen and learn.
This lady.
Suggested read containing pearls of great wisdom, the Bible. How to survive your potential, how to survive your parents, and making peace with your past.
Wow.
And well, this brings up the sign makes the fan here makes so much sense. But she says, "Sincerely from the heart, Susan in Prattville," and just so glad to be here. She means about being in Prattville.
Yeah.
And so, I guess what was the main takeaway from that? Some good reading material, like good suggestion to read the Bible. Yeah. But so stop being such an ass and listen and learn, says Susan in Prattville. So that's what this little fan is that she made.
I love it. It's got the jackass on it.
Yeah,
the donkey. That's
being such, and yeah, it's got the jackass on it.
You know, it hits me when you were reading that is what she's saying is get your spiritual house in order and start taking counsel. You got one mouth, you got two ears. Start listening. But unfortunately, Susan, I believe that probably he has a cadre of bad advisors giving him advice. They're working overtime, though. A lot of overtime.
I don't know why, but I want to talk like this while I have this fan.
It's not all about the sex.
Look at this ass right here on my fan. Stop being one is my point.
Lindsay, got it.
Thank you, Susan.
Susan, you're a great American. Thank you for your input.
And actually, use this for a second. That's quite nice, actually.
Let's see here. Man,
listen,
she's a pretty good artist.
Great job,
Susan. Look, Susan, 2026.
Yeah, A+.
Signed fan. Look here.
Yeah, A+.
Oh my goodness.
See how that works?
Robin,
how hot we've been in here?
I'd like you to come in and sit in this other chair and fan me the whole time when I'm talking.
Like that works.
Nice, Susan. Outstanding work.
Yeah, she did a great job.
Isn't that a nice little? She came to you for a voice, and she gave you coolness and cooling down the sauna that we set in.
Yeah. Anyway, you want to hit a break?
Yeah, let's hit a break.
All right. Too much excitement.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Whether it's AC or heating or plumbing that you're needing, whatever you require, call Lou Choir. Since 1983, we've treated you like family. Day or night, we do things right so you can live more comfortably. Whether it's AC or heating or plumbing that you're needing, whatever you require, call Lou Choir right now.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just one dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
You want your floors to scream new, fresh, and stylish. But if yours are groaning, tired, old, and outdated, you're in luck. Because at Prattville Carpet, you can revitalize your floors while you save on the best brands available with perfect and professional installation and Prattville's unbeatable lifetime warranty.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. If you're looking for carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plank, or ceramic tile, call us today for your free measurement.
Start shopping for your floors right now at PrattvilleCarpet.com.
Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
Trust is the number one reason why a patient chooses a healthcare provider. Adams Drugs has been your trusted healthcare provider since 1962 and has been voted the number one pharmacy in the River region for many years. We strive each and every day to provide you the level of healthcare you have come to expect from Adams Drugs. The employees at Adams Drugs take pride in developing relationships with their patients, from making sure your prescriptions are filled correctly to getting to know you and your family's needs and following up on any questions you may have. Adams Drugs employees deliver top-notch service. We ask you to visit us at any of our locations in Montgomery, Prattville, Wetumpka, Millbrook, and Pine Level Marbury and give us a chance to earn your business. You can find us at adamsdrugs.net for the location that is nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your local, independently owned Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
I was in foot pain for 20 years, trying to give it relief, buying all these different insoles, drugstore insoles, custom insoles. I spent thousands of dollars. I bought all these products and not a single one worked. I really, truly needed to have relief in my feet. And the Good Feet Arch supports were what gave me the relief I needed.
For over 20 years, we've been helping people like Teresa actually live the life they love without their feet getting in the way.
They wanted to make sure that I got something that my feet felt good in, not somebody else's feet. I love the fact that I can wear these arch supports in all my shoes. I have boots, I have cowboy boots, I have running shoes, I have walking shoes, I have flat shoes, I have heels. It makes me so happy. If you ask my husband, he will crack up because there is no store I would rather go in than a shoe store. I'm Teresa, and that's my Good Feet story.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
We're located at 7341 East Chase Parkway in the shops at East Chase. Now hiring.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by Earnest Financial.
If you're tired of losing your money in the stock market, call David Earnest, 334-279-7431. Earnest Financial, LLC.
Well, hi, everybody. Radar will be busy again today as a slow-moving front moves southward. We'll see partial sunshine with showers and thunderstorms becoming likely, especially in the afternoon and evening hours before fading out at night. High today in the upper 80s, low tonight in the lower 70s, and we'll be around the mid to upper 80s for a high on Tuesday. Then closer to normal on Wednesday with a high probably in the lower 90s with more scattered random afternoon and evening storms. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Back to school shopping starts now, and ASC Credit Union has you covered. Our back to school loan helps you pay for supplies, laptops, clothes, and more. Stop by your local ASC branch or apply today at yourasccu.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
The River Region's News Talk Station. News Talk 93.1. WACV. News Talk 93.1.
Joey Clark.
Oh, welcome back. It's a little hot in here. Let's get my my fan
Get that
going.
fan going.
Yeah, being such an ass.
Susan's artistic and a bit articulate.
Yeah, I like this. I like this look, actually. Simpler Days. I like this new fan.
Hey, y'all, I'm a big admirer of the fan lady. She was a victim of a terrible crime in Montgomery, and if anybody knows about crime in Montgomery, I promise you she does.
Okay, I don't know her like in that way.
That's why I like Simpler Days. He has all the intel.
She's one of the strongest women I've ever met in 40 plus years of law enforcement. She was a victim, she was a survivor, and then she turned into a thriver and then fighting back against crime and things that she sees. And she left Montgomery and, of course, lives in another place now. But if you had a chance to talk to her, you can see it in her eyes, her passion, and her commitment to want to make things better. But she walked a walk that few people would ever want to walk.
Amen. And just to describe it to the audience, when I say I have a fan, it's like a hand fan, but it's shaped like a stop sign with it's red. And then there is a very well crafted artistic rendering of a jackass, a donkey. And it's with the caboose of that donkey in the foreground, like he's looking over his shoulder at you. And underneath in beautiful cursive, it says, being such an ... ass. And that was her main message to the mayor: stop being such an ass. And I'm cooling myself off with this hand fan as we speak.
Well, I just wish the mayor could have, a one-to-one with her and let him listen to her and understand where she's coming from. She's just not somebody that's, wanting to throw stones. And she's a bit person that walked that walk and came out on the other side. But y'all have a good day, man.
Thanks, Simpler.
Appreciate Simpler Days. Thank you for that background.
He's always got the intel. Hey, you need to now take a little rag and be like, Lord, this flower's wilting over here. Lord, this flower's wilting.
I don't know if I can take the rest of this summer.
This muggy July weather's giving me the horribles.
You got a mint julep over there?
Belvedere, fetch us a mint julep.
Some Arnold Palmies.
Yeah, I love Arnold Palmers.
Mm-hmm.
But you're talking about like the adult.
Yeah.
The adult version.
Throw some liquor in there.
Liquor.
Anyway, 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. That's 334-272-9228 as we mourn the loss of Lindsey Graham.
For sure. Have you heard anything about when they're going to be doing his
no,
rotunda and all that stuff?
I'm sure something like that is going
coming. Yeah.
Now, we could go to the Iran stuff, but we might want to wait till the last hour because I know you've written some stuff on that. But there's a story, since we're talking about animals, with the ass, with the jackass. So this story caught my eye. Round-the-clock operation. This is all the way over in Nepal.
Okay.
It's from AsianNews.network, so it's probably a great source, right? But round-the-clock operation launched to capture killer elephant in Nepal. A week after the wild tusker killed a woman and her 4-year-old son, the national park has intensified efforts to tranquilize, collar, and track the animal, blamed for 25 deaths since 2010.
Man killer.
Yeah, it wasn't just this one time. Yeah, the latest operation follows the July 4th attack, where the elephant's name is Derby, killed 25-year-old Ashika Bote and her 4-year-old son, Bharat, after breaking into their home. The incident sparked protests by local residents who demanded authorities immediately control the elephant and provide relief to the bereaved family. Since then, the elephant has continued to move across the area, damaging houses, and it's on a rampage, Troy.
It's got a death wish. It wants to die.
But speaking of elephants, there's one here. Again, there was just a pair of...
what you did there. You know what you did there. I see what you did there. You're clever. You had a jackass for the Democrats. You have a Republican. Republican elephant on a rampage.
Oh, no. I'm sticking with Derby.
You like Derby? You got your money's on him?
On December 16, 2012, Shani Chara sat motionless at the Barua Bazaar. See, I can't do the Indian stuff. In Madi, alongside the lifeless bodies of his father and mother. They had just been trampled to death by Derby. Or Derby, a notorious wild male elephant that had begun terrorizing the fringes Chitwan National Park.
Yep.
In the wake of that tragedy, this fellow uprooted his entire life to escape the persistent threat of wildlife encroachment. He crossed the Rayu River, bypassed the core national park boundaries, and moved across the Rapti River to settle down in Jagatapur or something like that.
Jagatapur. Yep.
Yet, despite his desperate migration, the shadow of the rogue elephant followed him. On Sunday afternoon, and this is the same story, on Sunday afternoon, he was found sitting in a state of profound shock inside the district police office in Chitwan. Only hours earlier, during the quiet midnight of Saturday, the very same elephant broke into his new home, killing his daughter-in-law,
Goodness.
who was 25, and his 4-year-old grandson. So that's where this goes from like crazy elephant attack, like
This is a premeditated, purposeful killer.
to like, okay, this thing haunted us 14 years ago, and now it's back.
It's an Asiatic elephant, so it's smaller than an African elephant.
And they're very intelligent animals, are they not?
Oh, they are quite intelligent. They can live for 90, 100 years. Not this one. He's going to die by a 45-70 soon.
Yeah, the guys said, we believed that moving across the major rivers would keep us safe. But after all these years, the exact same elephant found us again, raided our home, and took my daughter-in-law and my little grandson. There was nowhere left for us to run.
Now, granted, Nepal's not a terribly large country, but still, he's got a bad thing coming. How do you feel about that, Jerry?
Kill the elephant.
Right. I mean, listen, I love animals. And I want to be honest with you. I have lost my thrill of blood sport after combat. Okay.
Fair
After
enough.
seeing what I've seen, I don't want to kill anything. All right. But in this case, when man cohabitates with these animals, and if they're doing that, that's got to go. I don't want to hear any of that.
Oh, no. And
crap.
it's killed 25 people
It's
since
a killer.
2010.
Why do they let it continue to roam?
I don't know. Like, once it's like an animal's killing people actively. And this is that, I mean, you just can't make that up. Where, okay, his family is terrorized. His mother and father are killed.
Sister-in-law?
His mother and father are killed 14 years ago by this elephant. He moves across the country.
Sister-in-law gets killed.
Somebody texted me saying, I think this is revenge for the elephant.
It probably is. I'm sure he had a pretty bad experience, but it's too late now. It's time to down him.
Like, yeah, I don't know. That just caught my eye. I was like,
And here's
my
the thing.
goodness.
Well, this is what happens when you live in a country where you're not allowed to have weapons. They could have
Like
taken
Nepal.
care of that, like in Nepal. Yep. Former British colony.
Yeah, it's that great George Orwell essay, Shooting an Elephant.
That's right.
You know that
Yes, it's a good one. Of course I do. It's a great one. Everyone should read that.
272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. This entire hour brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage.
Yeah.
And they're at Alabama Home Mortgage. They are ready to help you whether you're looking to purchase a home, especially if you're a first-time home buyer. They can walk you through that process without it being a surprise for you
It's like
or
my son did
a headache for
they
you.
They pre-approved him, got him through the process in less than a month.
But
Joey.
let's be
Less than
clear,
a month.
they can do it in less than a month, but they're not going to treat you like a number to be processed.
no,
They're
not
actually
on a
going to treat
computer.
you like a person
They did.
with real goals and real hopes and dreams in life. So finding that right home and doing it the right
Absolutely.
way, doing the process the right way.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, if you are looking for a great refinance deal, they can help you out in that regard as well. You've built up equity in your home. Use the money that you built up.
That's
It
right.
could be to get some debt off your back, shore up your retirement fund, or maybe you just want to go on that dream vacation and it's time.
What about veterans, Joey?
Oh, they specialize in helping veterans. They know the latest with the VA mortgage program, which a lot of the VA, you could say, is broken.
Not that.
Not the VA
And you
mortgage.
get more than one, Joey. You know, all these veterans out there operate. Oh, I've already used my home. No, you can use it for other homes.
So check out Alabama Home Mortgage today. You can always call them direct at 567-4223. That's 567-4223, or visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Be sure to let Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. At the opening said, what is it? At Moulmein in Lower Burma, I was hated by large numbers of people. The only time in my life that I have been important enough for this to happen to me. That's the opening line of Shooting an Elephant
Yes,
by Orwell.
sir.
I love that. I was hated by large numbers of people. The only time in my life that I have been important enough for this to happen to me. It's just
the elephant.
Beautiful entrance. And by the way, that is an incredible
It is.
essay.
Speaking of which, we have that rampage up there. Did you see that? Watch.
The grizzly?
No.
Oh, no, that's a
watch.
bison.
Watch it. He's chasing a boy and a grandfather down at Yellowstone. Now watch. Here he is. They're taking pictures. Okay.
Yeah.
And now
They're minding their own
starts
business.
rolling. He starts rolling around. I'm ready to go. And listen, he catches up with that old man and flings him about 8 feet in the air.
The old man already knew like it was a problem.
Yeah, so this guy kind of wants to play cover, and then here he comes through the woods for him.
Oh my
Watch
goodness.
this, watch this, watch this. He roots them out. Here they come around the corner. Well, they ain't shown around the corner yet, but they just showed him. They're going to keep repeating it.
That's a serious
Well, listen, and one person gets his car in between and almost tries to block, but he catches up with the guy and flings him. The kid gets away.
But is the old man all right? Or
Yeah, he's got some
pretty
serious
beat up.
injuries, but he's alive. Yeah, probably wishes he got run over. Yeah, watch is going to show him ferret him out of the woods here.
Wow.
Oh, they're just keep
They're
doing
just
that.
doing that on
yeah.
repeat.
But it was pretty brutal. It was brutal.
God.
Yeah. So speaking of wildlife and anger,
Yeah. Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
Now, Joey, what's going on, Troy?
Hey, buddy.
How you doing, dude?
Now, this subject matter you guys talking about now, I enjoy the hell out of that one now.
The elephant?
I was cheering. No, the man that got thrown in the air by what kind of that's a buffalo or
It's a bison. It's a bison. Yeah, bison. Yeah.
Anyway, I love that right there. I mean,
What's wrong
man,
with
think
you?
he can.
What's wrong
man,
with
think
you,
he can. Man, think he can just take over every damn thing, go in the damn animal habitat and everything, and just go out in the jungle and tell a lion he got to move and stuff like that. You can't do that.
Took his grandkid with him too.
You can't tell a lion he got to pack his stuff and get the hell out of the forest. That's his forest.
How about that elephant
But-
tracking down that guy
Yeah,
after
that's
14
crazy,
years after killing his mother and father?
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, we just read.
Yeah,
about
it was in Nepal. Like his mother and father were killed by an elephant, and then he moves across the country, across 2 rivers. 14 years later, that same exact elephant stormed to his house, kills his daughter-in-law and his grandson.
And it's killed 25 people apparently,
In the
according to
last-
the tally.
yeah,
So this is a
15
man killer. A man killer.
This
Gotta
boy,
kill.
yeah, this boy human or something, ain't he?
You know, he's very upset about how he was treated
Maybe that
somewhere at the
robot.
carnival.
Maybe that robot you was talking about the other day, Joey. Maybe he's a giant robot.
Nah. Well, don't try to have sex with it. I'll tell you that. You'll end up
I know
dead.
that. But man, back to my boy Lindsay, man, I hate that, bro.
Yeah. It is like to see somebody just who
71.
does seem full of life to go out that way. That's just awful, man. It is awful.
Yep. But, I guess I'm just speechless about that one, kinda. You know, just the people just dropping dead just like that. You know.
Well, we're not promised tomorrow, are we, Duke?
By the grace of God, we all go.
Oh no.
That's why I tell people, Duke, that's why I tell them before I leave. And Joey knows, I'll go say, I love you, man. Yeah, I always say that because I don't know if I'll see you again.
Right.
I love you, Duke.
Love you, guys.
Yeah. Not the.
Sir, man, y'all. What'd you say, Joey?
Well, and I don't mean to remind you of stuff, but I know you know better than anybody, man. And we do love you. And
we do.
It's to me, like I watched online with the Lindsey Graham stuff and like everybody being nasty who disagreed with him. And it's like, gummit, he's a person and a person with a heck of a story. And it's like, you know, I've made fun of him and all this stuff, but like you need to pray for that man, his family, pray for the repose of his soul. You never know the full story about a person, you know?
Right. And you never know when it's your time.
Yep.
You know, or your loved one time.
You know what, Robin, my wife says, Duke, you never know the cross that someone bears. And if you could help make it a little lighter one day, just by being nice and kind, it could go a long way.
Oh yeah. That's what I like to call. That's what I like to call and cut up with you guys on here, man.
I know you do.
Like I was telling Joey's, when my mom died in 2020, you know,
Yeah.
I started calling this show, man.
Yeah.
And,
That's nice.
you know, and I get enjoyment of pissing some of these cats off.
I know you do.
guys
You
and
do.
girls
You
on
were.
here
You were.
sometimes. I love it
You're the
sometimes.
chief stirrer. You stir the pot, dude.
But I don't mean it. You
I know
I
you
just
don't.
do
We
what I
love
do,
you,
and
dude.
I just give my opinion here. They don't like my opinion. They get mad. I ain't calling you no more. I thought you here calling. I wouldn't even call. I would have hung up and waited till he went away. You know, all that old bull crap. I almost said the other word.
Well, now you've given me a great thing to tell folks because I've been meeting all these new people like, well, what's your show about? I'm now going to say, well, we help carry each other's crosses.
That's the way to do it.
Then somewhere the other day, man, and this guy said, "You Duke."
I know your voice. I know your voice.
I know my voice, man.
You're somebody.
I don't know. I hate listening to myself. I said, man, sound, ugh.
I bet your wife's glad. I bet your wife is glad.
The women say, ugh.
I bet your wife loves it. Joey Clark's around because you can go over there, father.
Yeah.
She's like, dude, go call the radio station.
No, she be wanting to listen, man. She,
there you go.
By the time I go in the room by myself, if I don't want her to distract me or my grandson over or whatever, and so I lock him out. So I usually leave her the radio so she can hear me sometimes. Depending on what I'm in the mood for. Say that day, if I want to talk about the girls a little bit,
definitely.
Actually, she heard me last week talk about the girls. She know I'm just a flirt. I'm just a big flirt sometimes.
She goes, what are you going to do if you catch it?
I know it, boy. She got a big old iron skillet line on there.
Oh yeah, dude.
So, I ain't gonna get out of hand.
Iron skillet.
Plus all the robots these days. You don't want to make them too mad.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, I really, like I said, enjoy calling this show, man, and I learned a lot from you cats. How crazy the hell white folks really are.
Yeah, well, you know what?
Y'all something else.
Hey, I got news for you, Duke. You and me, we're brothers from another mother, but the same father. Remember that.
Yes, sir.
We're both children of God, Bubba.
Yeah, y'all. So that's why I don't feel sorry for these idiots out there doing this stuff they do, man. Like climbing a cliff and want somebody to come rescue their ass because they got stuck up there.
Like a cat up a tree, huh?
Yeah. They try to break a record.
Yeah.
White folks do that stuff, though.
Yeah, you're right.
Men of us don't do that right there. Now y'all do some stuff. Y'all brave as hell, but y'all scared of a damn gun, though.
Well.
Scared of a bullet.
Well, I got to hit this break, man, and I appreciate it as always.
All right.
Hey, love you, Duke.
We'll be right back after this.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values.
We're talking with Dr. Clark McLemore at McLemore Dentistry, and this is where I went a few years ago to get my smile reworked. Dr. McLemore, you have a great offer for our listeners.
We've got all of our design and manufacturing in-house. So what that means is if you come to us, we have the entire process under our control, providing top quality prosthetics and restorations, and that really impacts our patients' smiles, and it makes us feel a lot better that we're doing the absolute best we can for folks.
Visit drmclemordentistry.com.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Live local talk. The River Region's only 24-hour News Talk FM station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Only a few minutes here before our top of the hour break. And it's been a second since we've talked about Republican Party Chairman Scott Stodhagen.
Yeah.
For some reason, I turned German when we say Stodhagen. We have Scott Stodhagen.
Mein Führer.
On the program. I'm sure he would love to come to the show and me introduce him that way. Scott Stodhagen. But Alabama Republican Party Chairman Scott Stodhagen said it is vital that Republican votes in the August 11th special primary election as Democrats plan to cross party lines. Given the Democrats' track record for poor candidates, Stodhagen said it was disappointing but not surprising that Alabama Democrat Party Vice Chair Tabitha Eisner is pushing them to vote on the Republican ballot. It's disappointing but not surprising that the local leadership of the party of accused rapist Graham Plattner and New York City Marxist Mayor Zoran Mamdani is encouraging members of her party to vote in the August 11th Republican Party special election primary. Stodhagen said in the statement to 1819 News, the party of socialist giveaways, men and girls' locker rooms, and abortion on demand leaves their voters limited choices in our state. That defiantly rejects those policies, he added. It is of the utmost importance that Republicans vote on August 11th to keep these ideas out of our party. It also underscores the need for our GOP supermajority legislature to act by limiting voting in partisan primaries to those who are willing to identify with the party formally. In a Sunday post on X, Tabitha Eisner doubled down on her plans, saying the Republican Party created this bizarro do-over primary out of pure partisan greed with a side dish of racism, and now they're mad that we came up with a way to get even. Now it'll probably end up being a bunch of nothing.
Yeah, it will be.
Yeah.
But we'll hear about it.
Anyway. What, like y'all are really going to vote enough number? Oh, no, you elected somebody even more conservative.
Yeah.
Like, I look at District 2, and I'm like, wait, if it's not going to be the obvious guy, which is Brett Marcus,
right,
like, a lot of these other folks are pretty great.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll see. Hey, that's a strange one. You know, I was talking with Jack. He says that the electoral, the Secretary of State's office has projected that less than 7% of the people will decide that vote. It's about 20,000 people, 22,000 people. That's amazing. Oh, my vote doesn't count, Joey. Well, in this case, it would. So,
anyway, we got to hit this top of the hour break. Talk about Iran and stuff after this.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. President Trump says that the U.S. now controls the Strait of Hormuz. He disputes Iran's claim that it controls the critical waterway. The president says they will also reimpose their embargo against Iranian vessels leaving their ports and going through the critical strait, and they'll be charging other ships a fee to use it under U.S. protection. Doctors are shining a new light on the cause of death for former U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham. Preliminary findings from the D.C. Medical Examiner are that Senator Graham passed away from what's known as aortic dissection. That would be a tear in the inner wall of the aorta brought on by the hardening of the arteries. An official cause of death still to be issued. That will happen after further examination. All the new tensions with Iran causing a little pressure, downward pressure on stocks on Wall Street. The Dow right now off 165 points. This is SRN News.
Hey, I'm not one to say I told you so, but do you remember last year when I told you that Pure Talk was hands down the best wireless company that I'd ever used? Well, some of you were skeptical, but Consumer Reports just asked 120,000 people to rate every wireless company in America, including the big boys. Well, guess which company was the only company to get 5 stars in every category? Yeah, Pure Talk. Coverage, support, value, data. 5 stars across the board. No service contracts, no cancellation fees, just great U.S. customer service on a crazy fast 5G network for a fraction of what you've been paying. I'm not going to say I told you so, but I will encourage you one more time to dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to a 5-star American wireless company that won't let you down.
Let's go right to the phones and talk to Michael Cohen with Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Hey, Michael, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you?
Well, life is good. Like I said, life is just life. Start of another week. We got Troy Carrico in the studio.
Hey, Mike, listen, Mike, listen to this. One of our Adam Barenko thought I was Eddie.
Austin.
I'm going to have, Austin, I'm going to have nightmares.
Oh, my God.
He says, I see you and Eddie there on Monday. I said, what?
Well, What's wrong with being Eddie?
Well, I can't listen. I can't maintain that kind of that persona, that mantle. I wouldn't be able to sleep. He's such a party animal.
Yeah, right.
That's what he is.
Yeah, he's definitely not focused on your work.
I'm just kidding.
Focused on his work.
Well, speaking of focusing on your work, how's it going there at Cohen's today?
Man, it's been a great day. I've had a few customers that have come in up front. We got a 65-inch mini RGB we're taking out to a customer. We got a 55-inch Sony OLED going out. Had a couple people call in that needed us to come out there and move some installation of some TVs that we've already installed for them in previous times. They want to put it in a different location. So it's been a good Monday here, and we got to be thankful. And when Michael Jacks gets back and sees the schedule, he's going to be swamped. I mean, some of these people were setting them up and just trying to tell people, if you can be flexible, I'll set you up for this week, and he'll give you a 20 or 30-minute head start when he's got a free time, and he'll fit you in, or I can schedule you for next week on a definite time. And of course, everybody wants it as soon as possible, so that's working out good to where he can fit people in as he gets back and has some extra time.
Well, folks, get by there. Go check out the great products. And I know from firsthand seeing Michael Jacks at work, they get it set up the right way, especially that brand new big old TV with a great audio system, all the things you might want. And of course, if you're looking more on the appliance side of the house, they're great at that too. Always fun getting a new fridge, for instance. You get so used to your old fridge. It's like, man, it's nice to have something nicer in terms of fridge.
It is amazing to find out how long some of these customers have had their existing refrigerator.
Right.
Because I'm like, the new refrigerators, unfortunately, are not going to last 22 years like the old one did. It's going to give you good service, but its life expectancy, we think it's going to be probably in the 10-year range. And some of those old units they just were like Timex, and they just kept going and going and going. But anyway, I digress. The government's changed so much stuff to make them more fuel efficient.
Right.
That doesn't do anything for life expectancy. And but anyway, lots of options for you to choose from.
So y'all get by Cohen's today. Of course, there's somebody for some reason blowing things in an empty flower bed right outside the studio wall. I don't know if you can hear
I didn't know if that was Eddie back in.
That's Eddie trying to get in.
But stop by 2515 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery. They're open 9 to 6 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturdays. And find Michael, be like, hey, I heard you on that radio show.
Y'all come see us. Have a great day.
Cool. Appreciate you, Michael. We do have to hit the rest of this break. We'll be right back after this.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Victoryland. The winning is 24/7 at Victoryland. Go where the winners go every day, and you can be a winner too. Victoryland, I-85, exit 22, shorter. Admission 19 and over.
Well, hi, everybody. Radar will be busy again today as a slow-moving front moves southward. We'll see partial sunshine with showers and thunderstorms becoming likely, especially in the afternoon and evening hours before fading out at night. High today in the upper 80s, low tonight in the lower 70s, and we'll be around the mid to upper 80s for a high on Tuesday. Then closer to normal on Wednesday with a high probably in the lower 90s with more scattered random afternoon and evening storms. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
When the heat hits to the river region, don't wait. If your AC quits, Hands Heating and Air offers same-day service, or your diagnostic charge is free with their Comfort a Day or You Don't Pay guarantee, plus 24/7 service with no overtime charges.
1819 News.
Alabama's 2 U.S. senators are expressing their sadness over the loss of a Senate colleague. U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham died this past Saturday night at the age of 71. U.S. Senator Tommy Tuberville called Graham a fighter and a friend who loved his country. U.S. Senator Katie Britt said she's shocked and deeply saddened at the loss of Graham, saying his presence in the Senate cannot be replaced. President Trump has ordered flags to be flown at half-staff for all this week until Saturday at midnight. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Are you enjoying 1819 News? If so, consider joining 1819 News as a member. As a nonprofit news organization, we depend on the support of Alabamians like you. Memberships start out as little as $5 a month, and you'll get access to exclusive content only offered to our members. You'll be supporting independent journalism done by people who cherish Alabama values. Become a member today by visiting 1819news.com and clicking Become a Member. That's 1819news.com and click Become a Member today.
A former high school football coach was arrested over the weekend for third-degree domestic violence. 44-year-old Christopher Harrison was booked in the Coffee County Jail on Sunday. Harrison resigned as coach at Elba High School back in 2019 after he was reported to have shoved his son during a junior varsity game. Harrison is now the Director of Student Services and Transportation for Barber County Schools. Attorneys for DCH Hospital in Tuscaloosa are asking a judge to dismiss a wrongful death lawsuit. The family of a DCH nurse, Ada Doss, filed the lawsuit after Doss was fatally shot in the DCH parking lot in May of this year. Doss was leaving her shift to go home when she was approached and shot by a gunman who had tried to enter that hospital a few hours earlier. The attorneys say that DCH should be exempt from this lawsuit, according to the Alabama Workers' Compensation Act. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Dewan Walker has been an Alabama Power customer since 1999.
We're being squeezed on every side. We hear about Alabama Power freezing their rates. That's the best news we can get. Alabama Power rate freeze will provide real relief for Alabama working families. Alabama Power is protecting their customers by making data centers pay their full costs. It makes me feel at peace. Alabama Power is really stepping up and doing what's right for customers.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Okay, before we get into like all the Iran stuff, because I do want to hear your take on what should be done next, kind sir. Let's do a quick rundown of some of what's just published at 1819 News. We're going to do data centers. Tuberville defends data center projects in Alabama amid backlash. Ooh. He said, quote, we're going to have neighborhoods that are safe. Every city, every county, every place in Alabama, we're going to stand behind you 100%. We got to do it, folks. We cannot let the animals run the zoo. You're out there fighting with a short stick at times, Tuberville said in a speech. Need more money, needing more availability for your jails, need more help from mental health, needing things that are really going to help you every day to make your job a little easier and, to get politics out of it. We don't need to be political. We don't need it to be political. We need it to be family. We've got 67 counties. We've got 67 sheriffs, and we need to help every dang one of you, but we need to give you the resources to get that done. He continued saying, everybody asks, how do you do that? I've talked to several groups. I've talked to fire chiefs, police chiefs. Here's how you do it. We've got to grow our state. But one of the big things that's bringing in a lot of tax money across this country is these data centers. And everybody has heard about them, big tech and all. You can forget about doing away with it because it's coming. Everybody says, well, AI is going to do away with jobs. It's going to create jobs as well as do away with jobs, but you've got to have data centers. I think there's 27 states that have already said, oh, we're not going to build data centers. We're not going to do that. It makes too much noise. It's going to ruin the climate. Bull crap, Tuberville added. I mean, they're listening to all this nonsense they see on social media that's coming from China because China does not want us to grow. The state of Alabama will grow. We're going to do data centers. It will help you tremendously. The tax money that comes from those things is unbelievable for schools, for law enforcement, for anything that's done. We're not the richest state in the country, but I'm telling you, we're fixing to make a big move on it. I like winning championships. I like winning. I do not like losing, and we're not going to lose. A lot of that comes with being able to grow the state in the way that it needs to be grown to make sure that we're ahead of the times. So Tuberville taking a stand on the data centers and honestly sounding a lot like Doug Burgum, who I played the other day. And part of me has been wondering about, is the data center thing like an actual local concern here or there, or is it more symbolic of the time?
We're at down in Lowndes in Montgomery County. One of the problems that people are not talking about is the water, the duress on the water system. These are not closed cooling systems. These are continuous cooling systems that require massive amounts of water, anywhere in the area of about 1 million gallons throughout a week. That's a lot of water. And right now, and I've said this, Joey, water is the most precious resource we have. Wars will be fought over in the coming years, and we will spend our last drop of oil to get to the last drop of water. And that's, I think, where the biggest hurdle for a lot of communities are, is the water supply.
Yeah, like Burgum used an example of a small community in North Dakota that he stood up a data center and it actually produced more water because they set off.
Well, that may be so. And here's the thing: if it requires massive cooling, put them in Alaska. Put them in Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
Put them in lower where it's
orbit.
nice and cool. Yeah, I mean where it's nice and cool. But yeah.
So another story at 1819 News that we'll get to in a second. I don't have to do the details. Just the headline is attempting to take this district from us. Shamari figures. Yeah. Complains legislature disenfranchising black voters through redistricting.
Well, imagine that.
Sounds like a good get out the vote.
That's right.
Campaign, actually.
I've heard that the Democrats will spend anywhere from $7 to $10 million on that district.
They're going to try.
That's what I've heard.
They're going to try. Now, on the Iran front, the president came out today and was saying, well, Iran better not do anything crazy. And in fact, Trump has already reimposed the naval blockade. They already did something crazy is the problem. And so Trump is responding. Here's the direct Truth Social post. The Hormuz Strait is open and will remain open with or without Iran. We are reinstating the Iranian blockade, so named because it is only stopping Iran ships or customers from entering or leaving. All other countries will have fair and open use of the strait. The USA will be, from this point forward, known as, and this is in all caps and in quotes, the USA from this point forward will be known as the Guardian of the Hormuz Strait.
The Guardian Angel.
But as such, and as a matter of fairness, will be reimbursed at the rate of 20% on all cargo shipped for any and all costs necessary to do the job of providing safety and security to this very volatile section of the world. The process and formation will begin immediately. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. So I do wonder if this was actually always part of the so-called deal. That I don't think J.D. Vance's stupid. I don't think President Trump, who initially did this latest round, is stupid. They probably suspected the Iranians would break things like many of y'all have been saying. But I do wonder, and this is where I'm looking forward to hearing what you're about to say, can you accomplish your goals just with a blockade? Or do you have to start taking islands? But if you can do it with just a blockade, just with naval power, and just put the economic squeeze back on that way, that saves a lot of the, say, complications of taking a bunch of islands and holding them for extended periods of time. So I don't know. It'll be fascinating to see this play out.
Well, a couple of things. The longer this drags out, the better, the worse the look is for the United States in terms of soft power. Not just that, but hard power too. Number two, I don't know if you saw, but Israel and CENTCOM met yesterday, the IDF and CENTCOM, and they've been playing in target decks. I think it's inevitable what's coming. And number three, How's this one for you? There's over 400 Shahed 136 and 138 drones in Cuba right now that are under Iranian control. Consider that.
Well, that would be really, really dumb.
That would be a very bad decision on their part. But they've sold them there, and they have trainers there, and we're tracking that at DIA. I know that. So
now you got a thing that you wrote, right?
Yeah, I have. I'm going to give you the solution. It's called the zero sum game.
Okay.
And it's the Iranian solution in totality. There will be AKV in this, by the way.
Okay.
Listen up. The mullahs and the nouveau IRGC thugs aren't a government. They have no legitimacy. Think more like a military junta. The use of traditional statesmanship in this matter is futile. They're a cartel, a death cult in suits. Decades of terror, nuclear games, and crushing their own people. Sanctions and half measures, just delays. It's only delaying the inevitable. The outcome only that will suffice for real peace, Joey, is complete destruction of this regime, root and branch. No remnants, no reformed IRGC, no reasonable minds negotiating, no more breathing room. Anything less, and we're back here in 3 to 5 years with more American blood on the sand. I've said it before, and I'll keep saying it. The Persian of radicalized Shia only understands and respects one thing, and he only speaks one language, the power of the sword. This evil empire does not reform. It will not reform. It only metastasizes. This administration has its own plans, its own timeline, but the final result is inevitable. We're going to have to put force on the ground, real ass-kicking violence on the objective, the kind that forces total capitulation quickly. The IRGC's fancy new guard will fold like a deck of cards and in the meantime will not fold from our tweets and our targeted strikes and sanctions alone. Israel already knows the inevitable truth about this. They've lived next door to this nightmare for 50 years. They've taken the rockets, they've buried their dead, watched Tehran arm every proxy that wants them wiped off the map. Those guys are sitting there like a dog on a leash, coiled tight, fangs out, just waiting to be unleashed again. They get it. Half measures don't work with fanatics who chant death to America and Israel every Friday at mosque. We're not talking about another Iraq or Afghanistan before you get fired up. No nation building this time. No 10-year occupations. No provincial reconstruction. We go in hard. We go in fast. We shatter the regime's spine. We dismantle the IRG's command structure, and then we pull out immediately. Let the Iranian people figure out what comes next. Our mission is eliminating the threat, not playing referee in the inevitable coming civil war. And let's talk about paying for it, shall we? We can and we should siphon off their oil for as long as it takes as war reparations. It's our privilege. It's the spoils to the victor, just like we did with Venezuela. They have kidnapped us. They have attacked us. They've killed our troops in hotels and in barracks. They funded our enemies. They've killed our people through proxies. They plot assassination in our country. Let their crude Allah's gold cover the cost of the bullets and the fuel for this. The American taxpayers should pay nothing for cleaning up this mess. The regime is weaker than it has ever been in years. Proxies reeling. Economy in the toilet. People ready to explode. The Kurds are moving from the northwest. This is the moment for decisive action. Fortune favors the bold, not the timid. Complete destruction of this regime, followed by immediate withdrawal. That's the only path to actual peace. Anything else is just more kabuki theater.
Troy Carrico, folks. And we will see what transpires. It sounds like there are definitely some pieces being moved on.
There definitely is. I know that for a fact. I think that the time that we've spent in hiatus has re-strengthened our supply of munitions, and we're ready to move. We're learning a valuable lesson here at this point. This new type of battle space is we're learning quickly on the fly. So no pun intended.
Yeah.
On the fly.
Now, one of the things that Lindsey Graham was working on in his final moments.
Yeah, Ukraine.
Well, it was actually slightly different than Ukraine.
He
He just came back from Ukraine, but he was actually working on something else.
What you got?
He spent his final weeks laying the groundwork for an ambitious new push to normalize relations between Saudi Arabia and Israel. He told multiple people, and this one particular reporter at Axios told him in multiple conversations. Graham was one of Washington's most influential and energetic foreign policy figures. He spent decades trying to shape America's role in the world, and was still pursuing some of the biggest diplomatic ambitions in the final hours of his life. Graham saw Saudi-Israel normalization as the defining prize of a broader post-war settlement in the Middle East, one that could outlast the military campaign against Iran and fundamentally reshape the region. He had worked on the issue for years, including even with the Biden administration, and believed the opening created by Iran's weakening could give President Trump a rare chance to broker historic agreement. Graham's plan was to begin an intensive diplomatic push after Israel's October elections and the U.S. midterms, with the goal of reaching a deal before the new Congress is sworn in January. Graham believed the war with Iran first had to be brought under control, especially the ongoing crisis in the Strait of Hormuz. He urged President Trump to authorize a short, overwhelming military operation to reopen the strait if diplomacy failed. Graham was one of the key figures outside of the administration that Trump consulted with on foreign policy and national security, especially around the Iran war. He helped lead a group of hawkish advisors who backed the U.S. campaign and urged Trump to intensify military pressure on Tehran. In mid-May, Graham began urging Trump to make Saudi-Israel normalization the centerpiece of a broader regional day after plan for the war. A week later, Trump told the leaders of several Arab and Muslim countries during a conference call that he wanted them to establish relations with Israel if an agreement could be reached to end the war with Iran. His primary focus was Saudi Arabia. Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman had previously shown a willingness to normalize relations with Israel, though his enthusiasm had cooled over the past year. Saudi officials continue to insist that any deal must include an irreversible, time-bound path toward the creation of a Palestinian state. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's far-right government rejected that condition, and it remains unclear whether Israel's political landscape after the October election will create room for such a move. But apparently Graham told this reporter in recent weeks he had discussed the initiative with Trump, as well as U.S. envoys Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff, and that they had agreed to pursue it in a coordinated way. Graham also said he had spoken with Netanyahu confidant Ron Dermer, Saudi ambassador to Washington Princess Rima bint Bandar, and Saudi Foreign Minister Prince Faisal bin Farhan. He had been planning a trip to Saudi and Israel in the coming weeks to assess the appetite for reopening talks. Yeah.
Interesting.
Now, and get this line, though. Graham spoke with Trump by phone Saturday night and briefed him on the recent trip to Ukraine and the Russian sanctions bill he wanted to advance in the Senate soon. Trump told Graham he was prepared to launch fresh strikes against Iran after another attack on commercial ships in the Strait of Hormuz. A person who spoke with Graham shortly afterwards said the senator complained that he was feeling unwell. When the person urged him to seek medical attention immediately, Graham said he would do so Sunday morning after his scheduled appearance on Meet the Press. Graham then joked, quote, "I can't die now. I still need to do the Russia sanctions, get Iran sorted out, and do Israeli-Saudi normalization."
Wow.
He passed away several hours later.
Wow. Wow.
But by the grace of God, go I.
Profundity. That's right.
Anyway, we'll see. In some ways, I think there's going to be pushes on all sorts of fronts, for better or for worse, depending on your political perspective, to honor Lindsey Graham. It's just how these things tend to work out, especially when somebody of such note passes away so suddenly. Anyway, we'll be right back after this.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Welcome to Eclectic Coins, Montgomery's largest coin dealer, specializing in buying and selling investment-grade gold and silver coins. And they have a large selection of rare coins and coins from around the world. Visit them at 543 Northeastern Boulevard or on the web at eclecticcoins.com. Eclectic Coins, where collectors who know go.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson with the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. Here are several ways to attract more buyers to your home. First, price it right to sell, not to sit. An accurate market analysis will tell you what price it should be. Next, prepare the home to show and sell by deep cleaning by a professional cleaner, including carpet. Declutter all rooms, including closets. Evaluate flooring, replace if needed. Paint inside and out where needed, and make the kitchen and bath sparkle. How about the exterior? Are the colors faded on the shutters or fascia? Power washing them and all sidewalks and driveways and patios prior to listing the house. Remember, your price and curb appeal will create a showing appointment. Your condition of the house will make them stay and look longer and buy quicker. For all the steps you need to take to get your house ready for sale, call Bo Goodson at the Goodson Group, 334-221-2883 or 334-551-0225.
This is your roving reporter. Today I'm talking with a man from outer space.
What's up, Earthling?
I see you've landed your spacecraft over there in that field.
That's right, man.
My question is, why have you landed here on our planet?
I came to see David Ernest.
The asset preservationist?
Yeah, man. I wanted to see if he would take a look at my portfolio for me.
Well, before you make the trip over there, call him on his toll-free number, 833-596-7233.
And I understand those last 4 digits spell out the word safe.
That is correct.
Funny thing happened the last time I came to Earth.
What was that?
I went to the Walmart, man.
Yes?
And I accidentally went in the back door.
How did that work out?
Well, they stopped me and very gently told me that I needed to go around front and come in.
And then what did you do?
I said, cool, man. Take me to your greeter.
You flew millions of miles just for that.
Hey, man, I don't ride them. I just read them.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number 1 in the number 2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Weather, a service of H&H Carpets, where right now, get a load of this, listen close, you get a house full of carpet for $19.95 installed. Unbelievable. They're located at 6450 Atlanta Highway, just across from Walmart.
Well, hi, everybody. Our better than normal rain chances continue well into the evening hours tonight. The storms will be random, but some of the storms can put on quite a show. Low temperature tonight in the lower 70s. Again, tomorrow, a better than normal chance of showers and thunderstorms, especially in the afternoon and evening hours. Tuesday's high held down by clouds and showers, 87. And back to a more routine pattern, I think, on Wednesday and Thursday. High temperatures back in the lower 90s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
On FM, on your smartphone, and online, the River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Apparently, Trump is going to give a speech to the nation Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern. So maybe something like you were just talking about?
Something big's about to go down.
Let's go to Robin. I think you know this woman.
Hey, it is. It's my wife. What are you doing? I promise I'll fix it when I get home, okay?
Well, I'm calling
to talk about Tommy Tuberville and his educational op-ed on data centers because his true colors just showed up. And I'm not talking about orange and blue or red, white, and blue because he just told the people, too bad it's coming. Too bad. I don't care if you want them or not. Too bad it's coming. I mean, that's ridiculous. We don't want it. Oh, by the way, we already have a sheriff's department and a fire department. We don't need a data center. And I know more about data centers than he does, obviously. Too bad it's coming. That is, he's made an enemy out of me.
Robin, why do you say that, though? I know what you're going to say, so go ahead and air what the problem is with the data centers, in your opinion, that you from your research.
Well, first of all, it was solar. Remember, everybody was coming down here to do solar. We have to have 800 acres. Got to do this. Got to do that. And then Trump said, no, you can't do that. Now all of a sudden it's data centers, and they come to the country because they think that they're less educated. Well, even if that is true, and it's not, we get together and we will fight them. And that's what's happening. And even if it's a closed system, they will need almost 2 million gallons a day of water. It will ruin our water aquifer here. And then what are we going to do? And just the way he was like, well, too bad. It's coming. Too bad. Don't you want a sheriff's department? Don't you want... well, we already have that. And down here in Hope Hall, we already have all these businesses up here at the exit. Do you think we get any taxes from that? No, we don't.
Now she's talking about coming up. There's a vote coming in Hope Hall for incorporation versus the city trying to absorb a good portion of Hope Hall out in the country for tax purposes is what she's referring to. It's a big deal. We need to probably talk about that coming up soon.
And the mayor had already said, too bad, Hope Hall is ours. That's what he said.
Well, that special
and we
elections.
are fighting it. Yeah, it's just the fact that he was like, too bad. He didn't even have any backup on what he's saying. And it just, the data centers, it's a sore point because what are we going to do when they dry up all the water? And it's happening all over the country.
Watch this, Joey. Now I'm really going to get you fired up. And you know what Tommy said about gambling? It's coming. You better get ready. Gambling's coming.
Yeah, probably.
Well, you know why? You know what? I know why.
Why?
Because they need more money to steal. They need more money to put in their back pocket. The only reason we haven't gotten gambling or voted in gambling yet is because we already know that money will pay off somebody's vacation or their yacht or it will not go towards education. Mark my words, it will not go towards education. And there's so much good old boys in the state of Alabama. That's what we need to take care of first before we let them have any more money. There's so much money missing in every department, especially when it comes to the veterans. It's missing, and no one cares, and no one will even look
Joey,
for it.
SB
So
6.
let's give them some more money.
Joey, SB 67, her time that she spent with the Admiral, me, and with Colonel Adsmo up at the State House, it kind of ruined her. She said, every one of these people are on the take to a degree because we were talking with them, and they're pushing back. I mean, Joey knows this. It's the nature of the beast in Alabama, and it sucks. It does, but it is what it is.
The veterans deserve so much more than that. And I believe that people go, well, let's take money from the veterans. No one will know. And so anyway, sorry, that's my take on the data centers, veterans, and the government.
Hey, Joey was going to say, we got a call from Rockin' Robin on the line. And I said, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
No, that's okay. I didn't like it.
I don't know. The key Tuberville line is, we're not going to build data centers. We're not going to do that. It makes too much noise. It's going to ruin the climate. Bull crap.
Listen, all of that is true. It does ruin the water system. It does make noise. It heats. There's so much heat that it will heat up the area by, I think, like 9 degrees.
In some cases, they said, yeah. Yeah, the question is this. The question is this, Robin. You're probably part of the reason why they're doing it. You know why? Because she's got 17,000 pictures on her phone. She's got it all up in a cloud. She's got all these videos, and we are data driven now.
No, I was about to say I'm going to go search on the AI to research it.
Well, and I get that, but I'll delete some if I don't have to have a data.
Okay, I'll get with you.
And I had those pictures before the data centers came out.
Well, that's the problem. That's why they're building them. Ring doorbells, man. It's killing us.
Well, I appreciate the call, Robin. Great hearing you.
One more thing.
Yeah.
Tommy Tuberville should have said, I know you guys don't want the data centers. What can we do to figure out how to make everybody happy? I mean, I know you can't make everyone happy, but he just pretty much said, too bad, it's happening.
He's a coach. He's the smartest guy in the room.
Yeah. You should have, never mind. I love you guys.
Love you too.
Thank you.
All right. See you later.
So I think the silver lining here on this issue, but beyond just this issue, is you're actually going to see somebody who's going to lead. You might not like the decision.
I agree.
But he's going to say it. And he's going to say it in his own voice, and he's going to say it in multiple venues. And I don't know. It's going to be refreshing and good to see this state wake up.
Amen.
Because we've been asleep with Meemaw. Not sleeping with me. We've been asleep with Meemaw for 10 years now.
We just have someone on live chat talking about what's going on. I said, you have to understand, this is Ryan King. He moved here from Charlotte. I said, 8 years under the Ivy regime has put us at a disadvantage infrastructure-wise, technologically-wise. Mississippi has passed us. Yeah. Tennessee has passed us. We have to catch up. And what's the good side effect from this, Joey? Infrastructure is probably going to get improved drastically for fiber optic in the rural areas with these data centers.
And my basic thing is I don't want to do too broad a stroke with the data centers. I think it has to be specific to what type of data center, number one. How's it going to operate? Where's it going to be located? Like it's very much more a very localized, specific thing.
Agreed.
Because he is right in the sense that they're coming. Now, is it all just going to be Earth-based, or Elon's whole plan of putting them up into orbit and stuff? And NVIDIA seems all on board of doing that. So.
I hope so.
But yeah, I think this is just an opening sign of you're not going to have some guy who, number one, is talking out both sides of the mouth. Number two, is just going to be taking a nap every afternoon. He's actually going to be saying, here's what I think. And he's ready for the blowback, I'm sure. It'll be thank God. And again, he's probably going to do stuff I don't like, but it's at least we're awake.
It's the one thing you learn when you go to combat leadership training is be decisive. Don't be a reactor, be an actor. And that's what he's going to do.
Let's go to line 2. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, this is Mike the mechanic. How y'all doing today?
How you doing, Mike?
How are you, buddy?
Hey, you was talking about infrastructure. Now, I think included with that would be interstate.
Yeah.
Let's talk about I-65. Was anybody on I-65 July the 4th weekend?
I wasn't.
Yeah, and you count yourself lucky I wasn't either. I'm glad I could find a way around it. But everybody and his brother and his uncle went to Florida or to the Gulf Shores or wherever they went and come back at the same time on July the 4th. Talk about a mess.
Mm-hmm.
2 lanes all the way through. I don't know, maybe not all the way through Alabama. I can't say with any honesty that I've driven it from one end to the other, but it goes all the way to Michigan.
It does.
More than
it does.
It widens out around Birmingham, some parts of Huntsville.
Other than that,
but it's, the bottlenecks are around those bigger cities. It's there's so much suburban growth.
Like Verbena and Clanton, that area, they're expanding out. But yeah, you're right. It's ill-equipped for this.
It's so much beach traffic when you get south of Montgomery that it's just nightmarish.
And here's another scenario for you guys. The inland port of Alabama will be opened in 2 years in Hope Hull. That is where they will be sending container ship material cargo up to Montgomery to be broke and then sent out by the roadways. You're going to have even more traffic then. So something's got to give away, buddy.
That's right. So that was my 2 cents for infrastructure.
Cool.
Yeah, we're way behind in telecommunications or data or internet. I mean, get down there below Montgomery too, say Butler County.
Brother, I live down that way, and I can tell you, I had 3-wire DSL, Joey, 3-wire DSL.
Exactly.
Oh.
But now
you don't get any better than 4G, maybe one bar.
Amen, my brother. You and I come from the same stock, and I tell you, I had better service in Iraq, Afghanistan, Turkmenistan. I had better cell phone service out there in the
Starlink
States.
is probably everybody's best friend down there. Well, you guys have a good one. Keep on doing what you're doing.
Appreciate it, Mike. 272-9228. Again, that's 334-272-9228. Yeah. So much excitement. And so much we need to get done here in the state.
So Alabama needs, Montgomery needs a new mayor. Alabama needs a new governor, and it's coming.
And that brings me to a new op-ed by Barrett Gilbreth. Now, I have not read this.
I have not read it either, but I like him. Yeah.
And it's called Montgomery is Poised to Answer the Chicken or Egg Question.
Oh. Chicken or egg? Esoteric question here.
Barrett Gilbreth writes, the Montgomery City Council will decide in a couple weeks whether to proceed with a resolution to incur a $375 million debt for capital investment by issuing municipal bonds. It seems the citizens of Montgomery will be given a front row seat to how the council views the age-old question about poultry inception. Unfortunately, the council won't be solving the hypothetical equation, but rather choosing the path they feel will most likely move our city forward. On the one hand, there is a proposal for a $375 million capital investment for a new downtown civic center, arena, sports venue, and infrastructure. On the other hand is the city's glaring crime problem and understaffed police department, which was even specifically called out in the city's own market and economic impact study, prepared conveniently by the former employer of the city's new economic development director as a potential development limitation. And that's quote-unquote development limitation. There are clearly different theories when it comes to urban policy, and many cities wrestle with these same questions. Interestingly, the market and economic impact study compares Montgomery to competing cities like Mobile, Huntsville, and Birmingham, and I would love to take those comparisons just a few steps farther. Reputationally, Birmingham probably has the most similar story to Montgomery relative to their respective crime problems. Birmingham also recently hired approximately 200 officers to address this issue. What about Huntsville and Mobile? Well, Huntsville was recently compared to Montgomery through State Senator Will Barfoot's Senate Bill 298 for police staffing, and the city was very clear about how the legislation wouldn't affect them because they already met the staffing requirements contemplated by the bill. Mobile, you guessed it, nearly fully staffed police department. If Montgomery is competing with these cities for tourism dollars, it would seem advantageous to meet one of the core needs of tourists choosing their destination: safety. So now to the issue of paying debt. A bond issue in the amount of $375 million is going to cost the city $20 to $25 million annually just to service the debt. The city recently reported its current annual long-term debt to be around $25 million per year, so adding $375 million bond issue would nearly double the city's annual debt service obligations. Said another way, and given a population of approximately 200,000 residents in Montgomery, the city council is considering saddling every man, woman, and child in the city with an additional $115 per year in debt service. I wonder if the members of the council have consulted their constituents on where the money is best spent. No matter how you look at it, $375 million is a lot of money. Now back to the poultry conundrum. One theory of urban policy is to invest in the destination first. Perhaps a new civic center attracts conventions, concerts, visitors, hotels, restaurants, and additional private investment. As the tax base grows, the city gains additional revenue, which can then be used to improve public safety and other services. Another theory is to fix public safety first. This theory would assume public safety is foundational, and if residents and visitors perceive the city as unsafe, they are less likely to attend events, patronize restaurants, stay overnight in hotels, or invest in downtown. Under this view, reducing crime first increases the likelihood that a major capital project will succeed. The most interesting thing about this whole debate relative to the city of Montgomery and which theory of urban policy we choose is the nearly identical cost of either choice. How much would an additional 200 police officers cost the city? Somewhere between $20 to $25 million. Funny how that math works out, isn't it? Could it be the city has downsized the police department by the amount of funding it would require to cover the debt on a new $375 million capital project? Is that why we continue to hear from City Hall that crime is down in Montgomery? Is that why left-leaning rags continue to publish stories about how every city is facing police shortages or that Montgomery crime statistics aren't that bad? The Montgomery City Council has a choice to make in the coming weeks, writes Barrett Gilbreth. They must decide whether now is the time to double the city's long-term debt service for a capital investment project on the if you build it, they will come theory without adequately addressing the elephant in the room of police staffing and crime problems. I am all for capital improvement projects and investing in our city's future by providing more options for our citizens and attracting tourism dollars. Personally, I think we need the type of civic center contemplated by the plans I have read, and I would love to see several new hotels and restaurants pop up as a result of a significant investment. As the capital city, it is vitally important that Montgomery provides venues for visitors to come and enjoy themselves in this incredibly historic location. Foundationally, though, Montgomery must prioritize public safety to ensure the success of such an undertaking. The gravity of the decision before the city shouldn't be understated. There have been legitimate questions raised about the proposed bond issue and subsequent project, and many of these questions remain unanswered. If the City Council believes Montgomery somehow has the funds to accomplish both goals simultaneously, I encourage them to share the details of how this will be done before they vote on the debt resolution. I believe solving our officer shortage and public safety crisis is equivalent to laying and incubating the egg from which tourism in a flourishing city emerges. However, if the City Council believes it should spend $375 million on hopes of future revenues before adequately addressing public safety, then they will be guilty of violating another age-old proverb, counting their chickens before they hatch. That is, again, from Barrett Gilbreth, op-ed out there at 1819news.com. And I think he drives home a good point.
I think he does too.
I would much prefer the focus on the public safety. But I agree with Barrett in the sense, like, amenities, I've been saying this on the show, amenities in and of themselves are not bad things.
No.
But it's like...
Not if you can enjoy them, though.
I don't think you lead with amenities. No. But for all the talk of dollars, and I think that was a great breakdown of how much the debt service, essentially doubling our debt service.
Sure.
I appreciate seeing that figure and Barrett putting it out there. But for all the talks of the numbers and needing more officers and how much is, say, a debt service going to cost, I think our problem is not quantitative.
I don't think it is either.
It's qualitative.
It's definitely
and
qualitative.
I think, oh yeah, Montgomery needs a new mayor.
That's right.
Maybe it'll be Barrett Gilbreth. I don't know.
Hey,
somebody needs to run.
He's going to run under the chicken party.
We'll be right back after this.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
A new year brings new opportunities, and right now the market is starting to shift.
Interest rates are beginning to come down, which means more buying power and more options for buyers who've been waiting.
If you're thinking about buying a home, this could be the moment to take that next step.
And whether you're buying, selling, or investing, having experience on your side matters more than ever.
At Hannah and Eddie Realty Group, we're also growing our team.
If you're an experienced agent ready to make a difference in this market and want to be part of a team that values knowledge, support, and results, call Hannah and Eddie Realty Group, where opportunity meets experience.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Hey, this is Lyle from Margaret's Switzer Jewelry, and I do my radio advertising on Blue Water. I'll tell you what, I use most of the stations, and I've been using it for so long. It's hard to tell with the money you spend on advertising if it does any good. When they come in and say, I heard you on the radio, I know it's Blue Water, and I love Blue Water.
Our advertisers are our biggest advocates. Call us to find out how radio can increase your bottom line. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
Happens, you'll hear about it first. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back. New details about possible Iran plot to kill Trump. Yeah, shocking.
Been going on forever.
Let's go to the phones. Talk to line 1. You're on the air. Who's this?
I was just listening.
Mm-hmm.
It seems every each one of the propositions, the financial propositions that you propose, they're aimed toward one thing: 15% of the population of the United States of America. You got to do better than that, because all Montgomery is a connection between interstates that goes east and west and north and south. That's it. That's it. And when you build stuff for 15% of the population, you're not going to get your money back. You still there?
Yeah.
You're not going to get your money back. You're not going to get your money back because 85% of the population is not coming to Montgomery. They're not coming here.
Why not?
It has a reputation. It has a reputation.
So you would be more in the camp than I.
Until that reputation is changed. Look, the city council is nothing more than a rainbow coalition.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's it. I mean, what is that? You know, when you go on the internet, if you look up where's the best place to live for a gay person in Montgomery, Alabama, it's down there where these people represent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, is that representing the entirety of the country? Don't you have, if you have a business population, don't you want to expand your muffin shop beyond people who just like muffin tops?
Yeah, okay. Whatever, man.
Freedom of speech.
Yeah.
There you go.
Something felt off about that call from the beginning. Should have dropped it anyway.
But the question is raised: how do we change the image of? And it is. Listen, I can tell you, I had people. A good friend of ours, who's a state police officer down in Mobile, is our son's friend, Kelvin. He said, and he was a cop here in Montgomery, and he said, now he's with the state police. He goes, "What are you all doing up there? What are you all doing up there?" I'm like, man, it ain't good.
Well, we're just not committing the same, crimes of the past. If we're not like the people that used to run this place, then it'll obviously be good.
The sins of the father.
Right. It'll obviously be great. It'll be wonderful.
What could possibly go wrong?
It'll work out beautifully. Did we learn anything today?
I wish I was a messenger and all the news was good. I wish I was a full moon shining off a Camaro's hood.
What's that from?
One of my favorite songs by Pearl Jam. Wish List. You'd like it. It's really good. I wish I was a messenger. All the news was good.
Yeah, we learned that the Iran war it's back on or will be in full force.
It's on. They were meeting with IDF. CENTCOM was Brad Cooper, and we're getting ready. There's target decks being developed for ass kicking violence.
Yeah, I think there are definitely moves being made there. We learned that Lindsey Graham died.
Yeah, that's terrible. And we learned a lot about his character and what people thought of him.
And one of the last things he said is, "I can't die now. I got all this stuff to do."
12 hours later, man.
Yeah, less than that.
God,
a few hours later.
Terrible.
It was on Saturday night when he said that in a phone call.
Getting ready to do his Sunday
I'll
show.
go to the doctor after I do meet the press, is what he said.
Man, oh man.
It's just like, whew. Yeah, it's just a reminder.
Mortality, baby.
Especially if you ain't feeling right. It's just a reminder. And I know there are a lot of folks that are committed to the job and married to the gig and all these other things. But sometimes it's good to take a breath and notice that something ain't right.
Well, and you say this is why I say I love you before I'm done, because I have lost a lot of friends in anger and peace. And I know this. I believe that Lindsey Graham was saved. He probably would say, "I've got the best life insurance policy in the world." Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but on the Montgomery thing, why do we have to grow?
We better take care of what we got first before we can grow.
No. Couldn't we just have safe streets and make the schools a little better and encourage more people to go to church? And then I think Why? Because I really don't buy this idea that if you have more sporting events and more opportunities to go see the latest pop star or whatever, or the more opportunities to go get drunk, more opportunities to go gamble the family fortune away, more opportunities, and it's growth, it's money. This is what we need. This will make us happy. Once we get there, we'll be happy.
Sure we will. Materialism, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
That'll make everything right.
I just don't buy it. And, you know, if you grow organically, cool, man. Like, you got ideas, cool.
You said
but, like, I feel like we're missing the fundamentals. Not just on, it goes even deeper than security.
You said it best, man. This isn't quantitative, it's qualitative. This is not about amount of generated revenue. This is about quality in our people.
272-9228. It's 334-272-9228. Yeah, we'll see where it goes. But just like from reading the quote from Tuberville and then seeing like what the city's up to right now, I just have a feeling that that's going to be quite a point of
you know it's going to be
tension.
You know it's going to
Sparks are going to fly.
I predict that the Alabama National Guard will be on the streets at some point after Tommy gets here.
I have a sense that's coming as well, along with those data centers, Robin.
Yeah, water, baby.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be good to have a governor that, for better or for worse, is actually awake. And
well, no, it is. It's someone that's not drooling at 3:00 and drinking gin and eating cookies.
Hey,
what's wrong with gin and cookies?
Sometimes I drool with gin and cookies. I'll drool over that.
It sounds like I would do after this show.
Anyway, let's get out of here. Right. Happy Hour with Greg and Tom. They're next. Yeah, right.
From the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. Doctors are shining some light on the cause of death for U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham. Preliminary findings from the D.C. Medical Examiner's Office say that Senator Graham died of what's known as an aortic dissection. That is a tear in the inner wall of the aorta, and it's related to the hardening of arteries. A formal official of death, cause of death, will be issued after further examination. President Trump says South Carolina's governor, meanwhile, should appoint Lindsey Graham's sister to finish out his term. It comes